Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Married at First Sight All-Star Panel. I'm Glenn. This is Jackie, and we got some great people with us to discuss the Married at First Sight panel. Married at First Sight this week. Let's start with my right, Tommy and Artika. What's going on, y'all?
You're not gonna say anything.
You got it. You got it.
I'm Artika. This is Tommy, who apparently doesn't speak today, and we're August love story.
And we also have Talisa Ray. How you doing, Talisa?
I'm doing well. How is everybody today? It's just the one and only me, Talisa Ray. Y'all know I do have my review. It's coming. It's going right now. It's gonna be up after we finish. It's gonna be up after.
But you're the ray. Even though you by yourself, you're still a ray of sunshine.
Come on, Glenn. You know what I'm saying? Come on. You see, I knew y'all my people. These is my people. Y'all understand?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get started with Married at First Sight. We saw a lot of things this week. We're gonna wait a little bit, hit Chris and Alyssa in the middle. Well, let's start with my man Steve and Noy. This week they met with Pastor Cal. I'm gonna call it Dr. Cal, Pastor Cal. And the subject of Steve not having a job came up. And Noy was still a little bit disturbed. Let's start with Talisa. Your thoughts on Steve and Noy, and how do you perceive that conversation with Pastor Cal? And did Steve get it?
I think Steve got it, but that's not Steve's zhuzh. Steve is a free spirit. He felt for her. He held her hand and supported her as she cried and was vulnerable because, she needs that stable environment because of what she's been through. But Steve was like, being in a regular sit-down job is not for me. It stifles my creativity. And I was just like, this is going to be a hard one for them, because they're definitely imbalanced here. And the only way that this thing is going to kind of even itself out is if he is me in my mind, and what I said on my review when y'all see it, is that he needs to get his own, have his own business and be a consultant, have some kind of consultant firm for himself so that he can have some consistent income, because that's what she's going to need to see. Yes, you have things, bits and pieces here that you do, but she needs some consistency to reassure her financially. But that ain't the only problem they're going to have. It's going to be that damn dog, little Sushi. Yeah. I think Sushi is going to be one of the bigger issues than the finances. I really feel like they're going to figure out how to navigate their way through it. If they stay together, they're going to have to figure it out, because finances is the one thing that me and my late husband had an issue with. And every time I wanted to leave him, it was because of finances. So the fact of the matter is, I feel like he has a good head to work through that, but she's not. She doesn't have like common sense to me. When I think about the dog, the dog has to stay in the bed. He's gonna sleep in between us. Like, you can't retrain the dog. And then you see that the dog was a little dog. He had to have stairs to get up there, which means you taught him and welcomed him into your bed when you were lonely. And I get it. I mean, I'm not that kind of a dog person. I have a couple dogs, but they big dogs and they stay outside. And if I had a little dog, it wouldn't be in my bed. This is not gonna happen. I don't see it. You're not gonna be next to me with your butt in your face. I got a cousin, little Stewie. He's a dog because my cousin loves him so much that he sleeps in the bed with her. But when they come here, oh no, don't get on my furniture. You got a little bed over there. Don't get on my furniture. And so that's gonna be huge of a problem as finances. And their biggest problem, though, is that they're afraid to communicate to each other. They're afraid to talk about, I don't want the dog in my bed, and I don't want these LED lights at the house. Like, they are afraid to communicate the two things that are important to them. You know what I mean? And I think that's going to be their problem. She has to get out of La La Land, and they both have to have a serious conversation. Like, it's all fun and games. She got all these little things in common. That's cute and everything, but it's real life. And real life says 3 kids could be unrealistic. You really need to think about what you're going to do with your finances. That dog can't be in the bed, and them LED lights all over the house is tacky as hell. So you're going to have to figure all that out. Had the conversations. Like, that's what you do. And I get that they're new, But I feel like all the foundations of all any relationship, no matter intimate or otherwise, is based on transparency, honesty, and the ability to communicate what you say. I'm gonna say this one last thing that's so important to me. People always talk about people don't know how to communicate. I think I said this before. If I ask you for a spoon, you're gonna give me a spoon. If I ask you for a knife, you're gonna give me a knife. The problem is that we don't communicate authentically and what we really feel for fear of what the other person is gonna say. So we need to get out our own way and understand that my happiness is just as important as yours in this relationship, and boom, we could work.
All right. Tommy, Artika, Stephen, Noy.
You want to start?
I got it. Yeah, Steve, like the biggest issue. I love dogs. When I had my dog Rondo used to sleep in the bed with me. He slept at the bottom of the bed though. If I had some company, this is pre-marriage, so if I had some company or anything,
I never
you
even
know,
met Rondo.
yeah, he would go to his home. He had a little cage. He'd go to his house, and and everything else. But that's gonna be the biggest issue between them is that she's so stuck on her single living, and now that she's married, it's like, no, you like this. This is this man's bed as well. You know what I'm saying? Like if he slept with a bird, you wouldn't want him to bring that bird into y'all married bed. So um, she has to be open to getting well. What she has to do is get used to sleeping with him, and not sleeping with him and that dog. Um, the second thing is kids are a hard number. Kids are always variable in a marriage because of what could possibly happen. Like you could possibly be going through some things, or you know somebody somebody, I don't know the word. What's the word? The appropriate word to say that somebody can't have children.
Barren.
Somebody may not be barren.
They might be barren.
They be barren. That's it. Somebody may be barren or something like that. But you never know. So it's like you can't say that's a hard number. That's something I'm gonna do, or you have to adopt. Now I don't know if that came up in their conversation. I know it didn't come up with Pastor Cal, but I don't know if that's something they talked about before, as far as like what if we can't have children or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to be open to the idea of we may not have children. That's like one of the scariest things with getting married, because you're making a commitment and you're saying, yeah, I want children, but we don't know until we actually have children if we can have children. So I think they like each other, and like Talisa was saying, they're afraid to actually have the conversations with each other, just because they don't know how the other person is going to react. But I mean, right now is the time to rip the band-aid off. It's not a it's a way to communicate it, but you still have to say, hey, I don't like this. Like with Steve and the dog, we all watched his face say, I don't want this dog sleeping in the bed with me. So why not say that? I'm not comfortable with this dog sleeping in the bed with me. It's a simple conversation and you guys discuss it. Because you guys are trying to build something. He's not trying to build anything with this dog. He don't even like picking up poop.
Who does?
Nobody. But I'm just saying, it's like it's a part of the job. Like the dog can't pick up his own poop unless some type of trick, which I have yet to see that happen. So, I just think Noe needs to get out of her single life mindset, and the idea that Steve, and then I'm done after this. The idea that Steve doesn't want to go back to work is cool, but I think he needs to come up with some type of plan to assure her that they're not going to, like, I don't want to say be poor, but he's not going to be able to pull his weight in their marriage. So what you got, hon?
Okay. So I'll start off with what you ended with, Steve and the job. I look at entrepreneurs, which is essentially what freelancing is, as you don't have a job. My stepdad is an entrepreneur. I have never said You going into the office today? But he gets up and he works every single day. He has, an income, and he's built a life for him and my mom. So when I look at that, I think it's again the clouded judgment around the word job and not the process of bringing in income. Because he was like, I can make money, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. What we have to figure out is the reassurance of I don't want you to not have a job, or is it the reassurance of I want you to have income? Because those are two different things.
That's the thing. I don't want to be poor. That's her whole
But if we can reassure that I have income to make sure that we're not poor, I don't need a job.
That's true. But I just feel, I'm sorry, guys. I just feel like he hasn't assured her on that. Like, and it's early. It's early
it's
too.
10 days.
It's early too. But I'm just saying, that's like, for me, and we had this discussion. It's like, for me, it's like that's one of the number one things.
It's been 10 days, and 7 of those days he didn't have to break out his card for anything because they were getting married on somebody else's dime and a honeymoon on somebody else's dime. Right. So I don't know what kind of reassurance we needed to do in 3 days where we're living in somebody else's apartment that they're paying rent for. It's I guess it's a matter of tell me what you need, and we can go from there. But if he doesn't see himself going back into this corporate job, cool. What are you going to do? You're going to do freelance work? Okay. She doesn't have to understand that.
Right.
She just needs to know that there's going to be some income coming from it. Yeah. I think that's the overarching issue.
Yeah.
Now, going back to this dog, Sushi.
That's the dog name?
Yeah.
Sushi.
I love dogs. However, I do not want said dogs sleeping in my bed. I also definitely do not want said dogs butt in my face. And that's what happens if Sushi's face is in Noi's face. Where is Sushi's butt? In Steve's face. Steve has already said in so many words, look, let's find another arrangement for this dog. For whatever reason, she's not reading between the lines of what he's saying, and he's just going to have to come outright and be like, look, I'm not doing it. Yeah. He already looked at the bed when they walked into the apartment and was like, am I going to even fit in this? Now you want me, big, tall Steve, I mean, he's not big, but he's taller, to fit in this bed and then put this dog in between us in this bed and think that I'm going to be comfortable. Not going to happen. I understand not wanting to pick up the dog's poop. He didn't say he wouldn't. He just said he doesn't like to. That's already like he's negotiating there. Like, make me your last resort. Like, we have a friend who always tells us if we need somebody to watch our child, make sure she's the last one that we call. Like, I don't want to be first on your list. I don't even want to be in the top 5. Like, literally, have you called your mama from out of town? Did your auntie say she couldn't come? The last 2 babysitters backed out. Okay, then you can call me, because she was like, I just don't do kids. And I can accept that. You've laid your boundary. Cool. Not going to call and ask you. What was the other thing? What were we talking about? The money, the dog, the kids. I was watching somebody else's review recently, and they said, what if you have 2 kids and get pregnant the 3rd time and it's twins? You gonna just abandon the 4th baby? Because 3 was your magical number? That just does not make sense. Like, as someone who was not expecting to have a small baby during a pandemic, you just do not know what life is going to throw at you. And that has nothing to do with how she acts as a kid. That's just environmental. Like, that's something that I can't change. You just really don't know what's going to come your way in childbearing, like childbirth. None of that. Like, you might have that first baby and be like, nah, I can't do this. And you don't know what you're going to get. I think that it's way too rigid of a guideline to say, I want 3 kids. Like, my mom always said she wanted a boy and a girl. It took her 11 years to get to me from my brother. So, I mean, it's just, you never know what you're going to get. You just got to try to figure it out. But I think that she needs to think beyond 3 kids into what are the possibilities that are out there? Because like you guys said, you could not be able to have kids. You might have too many kids. Like you might come out with 2 sets of twins, and then whoop, I got 4 kids. What am I gonna do? Like you just don't know. So I think she needs to let that go. And she's really like, no, that's a non-negotiable. I'm like, is it though? Because what if you are the one that can't have the kids? You gonna just throw yourself away? It doesn't make sense to me. But that's all I have for Steve and Noy. I'm still Team Steve. I was on Team Steve and Noy, and Noy has just got on my nerves this week.
Yeah, I just want to say that Tommy, you're lucky to have Artika.
Wait, time out. Ain't she lucky to have me though?
Listen, I'm Team Artika. I like you and everything. But I feel like you are lucky to have Artika because the wisdom that comes out of her mouth, okay? Like, I mean, you have it too. You do. But I'm just saying that's my girl.
She just articulates better than I do.
It's in the
That's
name.
all.
Yeah, I agree with Artika with that. When it comes to Noy with the kid situation, you may get one and realize, you know what, I can't even handle this one. Right, like one, you may your first one come out, maybe want to get you to pull your hair out, and be like, you know what, this ain't what I'm working with. I don't want the other 3. And then again, like you said, I left the twin point because you can get to 2, and you do have twins. All right. Or you can get to 2 and they tell you, you know what, you can't have any more kids. We talked about this. You can get to 2 and it almost killed you to get to 2, where you have some medical issues and problems and situations where it may not be in your best interest to go try and have another one because it could hurt you. And so she has to have this 3 number out of her head. I remember my wife, she like, well, I didn't want 2, right? She didn't want 2 kids. Well, no, she wanted 2, but she wanted to try one more. And so we tried one more. And on the 3rd time when we were getting ready to have one, we had a miscarriage, right? When we tried the 3rd one, that happens. And sometimes when women have miscarriages, it can do psychological stuff that you may not even want another one. You don't even want to try because you have dealt with the burden of losing a child. And so, but we tried again, and we had a 3rd one. But after that, the shop was closed. You know what I'm saying? Because you had so many. I'm sorry, y'all, shop's closed. But you get to that point where you're so obsessed with a certain number or so obsessed with this that you forget the ones that you do have, and being able to enjoy them, and not only the aspect of the kids, but how are you and Steve going to handle it? Because it's just you right now. When you start adding a kid into a mix, it becomes a different dynamic. Now you have to share the love that you 2 had together with the kid. Then you add 2 kids in the mix. It depends on the age gap. If you got 2 in diapers at the same time, or 1 in this stage in life and this one that stage, it starts to affect your relationships. Or if you wait too long, you got a teenager and you got a toddler, and so you don't want to be able to be shifting in those age groups. So she has to be cautious about saying, "I want 3," and that's a deal breaker if I don't get 3. That makes no sense at all. The jobs.
Can I talk about that real quick? But that's why I like what Artika and Tommy were saying too. Because for one, again, yeah, you could be barren / infertile. It might not be nothing coming out of there. Might not be nothing coming out of there.
He might be shooting blanks.
Might be her, might be him. You never know. Same thing with us. Like you said, really my number was originally 4. And I was like, okay, I like 4, but let's try for 3. We had our 2, and the 2 came right back to back. And I was like, I had 2 toddlers, and he worked night shift. And I was like, I cannot do it. And I think I was overdosing on birth control pills. And so then when I was like, okay, I feel good, let's have another one. It took a minute. And then, like he said, we had the miscarriage. And then again, I could really relate. When we had the miscarriage, I was like, I don't know if I want to have another baby. It was like, if God wants it to be, it'll be. And we ended up having our youngest, but you never know. And then on top of that, I had 3 C-sections. So it's a multiplicity of factors that go into that. You can't get stuck on that number. And I like what Steve brought out. There's like, again, what if you have one with a physical ailment, a mental, some kind of it takes a lot to deal with a special needs child. And so, if we have a special needs child, and then like Artika said, if you have one, then you have twins. What if you have twins the first time and you try the second time and that's twins or triplets? What you gonna do? Sure. Somebody, I got 2 kids for adoption. I got a set of 3, but I don't want but one of them.
Right.
No. That ain't gonna happen.
What if they don't break? You can't break. Well, in fact, what she could pregnant the first time, she had no triplet. Quadruplets.
It's so many things, but you definitely can't get stuck on that number. And then you were about to say something about the job, which I was gonna bring out too.
Go ahead.
Again, I could relate to what they were talking about so much. You know what I mean? Having a spouse. At one time, we went to a point where my husband had lost his job, but like Artika said, it's not. What he got, he didn't get a 9 to 5 per se, but he got something to bring income in. So what are you hung up on? Are you hung up on job? Or are you hung up on income? If there's money coming in, I understand. When you deal with somebody that's an entrepreneur or a freelancer, we know in business, things can go up and down. So I understand her trepidation there, but like I think Artika and Tommy and Talisa, I think you touched on too. What she needs is a plan, though. Be able to say to her, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do." You got to make her feel secure, and that's what Steve will have to do. And I'll let you talk about the job thing.
Everything I was hustling, but hustling this, man.
Yeah, he was.
Hustling security systems, whatever. But again. But at that point, you got to make a breakdown. Okay, what is our budget, right? What do we need to live on, and can we sustain if Steve doesn't make any income that month? He talks about his IT or he computer stuff like that. He can have a job every day, or he can do consultant stuff where he can make enough money in one instance where it covers him for the whole 3 or 4 months. Mm-hmm. So it could be that aspect of it, and then 3 or 4 months he don't have anything, right? So again, they're gonna have to learn how to manage his freelancing ability and job. I think, Artika, you said something that was really true. We get caught up on the word job and not income. And I think that's the biggest thing. If I don't go to a 9 to 5, but I can still bring in 50, 60, 70, 80, $90,000 a year, are we good? Or do you just want me to punch in, right? punch in and be away from you, or be away from family, or be away from home, right? So it becomes, again, like you said, I think that was a good point. That and he has to ask her, what is your security gland? Is it that me going to work, or is it me bringing in the money? Because I can bring in the money and still stay at home. And if she wants 3 kids, what if he can stay at home and watch the 3 kids while she still work? Right? So now you're saving money on daycare. All of us with kids understand daycare is expensive.
Ooh-wee.
And if you have multiple kids in daycare at the same time, they ain't give you that much a break. Most of your money going to daycare. So if you can make the money, if you can be freelancing and stay at home and watch the kids, you kind of balance itself out. And that's good. And the last point is about the dog. I'm sorry, y'all. I like animals. I said this on our review. I can't sleep with Sushi, right? The bed is already tight as is anyway, right? I don't want to be shooing a dog out the way when it's time for romantic time, right? I don't want the dog to be looking at me when it's time for romantic. You up there doing your business, and Sushi they're like, what's going on, dog? Right? Looking at you like, hold on for a minute, So you don't want none of that going on. So she go ahead and get out for a minute. But again, she has to, and I do agree with you, Tommy. He should have said something at that point where he should have said, you know what? I'm not comfortable sleeping with a dog.
And she should have caught the hint. I was like, no, you being real slow right now.
And she should have caught.
He is saying he was like, oh, well, so we bring in the bed, but Sushi not going to sleep in the bed? No. I think Sushi should sleep in the bed. No. You can always move. You can't move. She was like, well, Sushi's used to, he is trying to tell you, catch the hint, Noy.
But it's going to
move the dog.
It's going to lead to a lot of issues because they can't communicate. Mm-hmm. Because she can't communicate about the LED lights. He can't communicate about the dog. So when it becomes major issues, and when Pastor Cal is not there, or Dr. Viviana's not there, or Dr. Pepper's not there, how do you communicate about major situations, issues? Because she has yet to tell Steve anything about the job that we've seen unless Pastor Cal or somebody was there. She spoke to his family. She spoke to her family, but she hadn't spoke directly to Steve. I think she has an issue. And we have Miss Chloe. Chloe, how are you doing? You didn't miss much.
Yeah.
We're just talking about Steve and Noe. So it is your turn. The floor is yours.
Steve and Noe. So with the dog, Steve not here for that dog. Steve is not here for that dog whatsoever, child. So I think that Sushi is an emotional support dog for what's that girl named Noe. And I think that's why, because when she was talking about it, she seemed like she had anxiety even thinking about not being with that dog or not having the dog around. And she's going to have to really talk to him about her needs when it comes to this dog, and they're going to have to set boundaries. The dog can't be in the bed. The dog just can't be in the bed. Now, if the dog sleep at the bottom of the bed, he was even trying to get the dog to be on her side of the bed. He like, the dog just can't be in the middle of us. Definitely not on our pillow. She's trying to give the dog the own pillow in that bed. I said, oh no. I just feel like Steve needs to just tell her, like, I'm not here for that. It's like he's trying to avoid the confrontation of the conversation that needs to happen. Because what's going to happen is he's going to be upset, he's going to get resentful, and he's not going to want to deal with it at all. And he's not going to like the dog. And I think he doesn't have a problem with the dog, but eventually it would get to the point where he just don't like the dog in general. And then that will be a bigger conflict than what they got dealing with just keeping the dog out the bed. What else? The children thing, I'm so annoyed. Like, I'm sure y'all already discussed this, but when I was in my early 20s, I didn't want no kids. None. Not even one. God gave me a daughter at 23. And I was like, I'm done. One and done. I just recently had a miscarriage a couple of months ago. And now I want another one. So I feel like you never know what God has in store for you when it comes to having children. You can say, I want to have 3, I want to have 4, but there's so many things people get. One of my best friends have high blood pressure from her last child, delivered that child 5 months. She like, I'm done. I am done. I don't want nothing. So like, I feel like for her to make it a deal breaker is like beyond me. Especially when people die from giving birth, like that's a thing. So for her to make it seem like, oh, it's all or nothing. I'm going to have 3. You're going to give me 3. You don't even know if you can have children, sis. Like, give it some time. You tell him you want 3. He says he's fine with having 3 if God permits it, right? If the finances, the time, the patience, all that permits it, then that's fine. The fact that you both agree on having kids should just be enough for now. The amount should not be a deal breaker. Like, you both want kids, cool. Now we can move on. We could discuss how many as we have kids. Once we have 1, you want to have another one? Cool. Once we have 2, you want to have another one? Maybe. My mother had 2 sets of twins. I'm a twin. My brother's a twins. After she had her first child, you thought she was going to end up with 5 kids? You think she woke up and was like, I'm going to have 5 kids today? Nope. Like, life happens. So for you to just put a number on it is beyond me. Way beyond me. So I think it's just something she's finally probably going to get in her mind, because after Pastor Cal said it, she said, I never thought about that. Right, because you sound childish. You sound real childish. That's what it is. And I'm here for the LED lights of it all. I don't care what y'all say. Okay, you put the LED lights on. I don't have none, but I think I'm going to get some, right? And when you want to have your red night special, you turn it down onto the red and you let the music play in the background, okay? And then when you want to have, a little, turn up, you let it blink, 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 and you have a whole concert in your bedroom, in your living room, or whatever. I'm here for the LED lights. Let Steve have his LED lights.
Hey, I'm for him in the bedroom, but when my man's talking about the kitchen and the bathroom having LED lights, I can't do the bathroom and the kitchen with LED lights. Every kid in my house has LED lights, right? All of them.
Yeah.
I understand the LED lights. I can rock with it. But when you start talking about, well, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm going to put a mirror, you can't decorate the whole house with LED lights.
You got to set a boundary for them. Like, Tiny has LED lights on the back of our TV in our den. And he's talking about putting them on the TV in our bedroom. I'm like, I never turn these lights on. But the thing is
LED light right here too.
And he says the LED light back there. I don't turn these lights on. he rarely turns these lights on. It's just literally like the thought of, oh, they're there. I like the idea of them. He said it's the option.
Yeah, options.
And the last piece, the finances. I just hate that they this annoyed. I just hate it. Because she's literally so emotional about it to the point where she's crying. Like, it's not like, oh, we're gonna figure it out, we're gonna be okay. Like, she's distraught over the fact that she's scared of the future. That's a problem. Like, why would you want someone who wants stability and give her someone who wants to be free? That doesn't make sense. Now, I don't think that he will have a problem making money because he's into IT. Once you get into the computers, it's all fair game. But at the end of the day, 401k, health insurance, these things go into part of being stable when you start having kids. How you gonna be like, your kids gotta go to the doctor? You gotta have some money when you die. Like, come on. I mean, not when you die, Jesus, not die, but you gotta have some money. Something like it's a whole thing to it. I'm not saying that he can't do that, but if he wants to be an entrepreneur, then he needs to start a business and then build on top of that business. Don't say I'm doing web design, I'm doing logos, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No. See, you all over the place and nothing's structured. Pick something, build it. Then you can add in, oh, I also do this with this service. I also do this with this service and build a business. But he's so all over the place, it's not giving anything stable for her. And she needs stability. And for them to give her someone who wants to be all over the place, it's just beyond me at this point. And that's it.
No, I think that's a good point because we talked about, she really talked about her background. And I'm not saying she's going to ever go back to the refugee camp. And I think that's what her fear is. Her fear is that we're going to be poor and we're going to be this. She has to look at too. This dude has sustained himself without a job, for 4 months when he was traveling across the country. I think they should do what I think it was Miller and Gill last season, where they like, okay, what's your finances look like? All right, you're back home now. You're not off the honeymoon. Okay, let me see what your bank account look like. Let me see what your finances look like. What do you bring in when you're doing your freelance stuff? And let's work something out. I think that's where, and you're right, when you're all over the board, sometimes you mess up, but you said deaf, he do need some life insurance. We talking about having 3 kids.
You definitely need life insurance.
when you check up out of here, somebody need to be able to take care, of some of the things. Speaking of husbands, let's go to this one. Katina and Elijah one. Katina and Elijah one. And Chloe, we're gonna start with you because Elijah one said that before he got married, he got peanut butter sandwiches in the morning. And now because he has a wife, he expects meals every day, breakfast. But Chloe, we're gonna start with you. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to figure out why he still can't eat his peanut butter and bread. Like, who said thou has a wife now no longer eats peanut butter and bread? Like, boy, if you don't go in there and get your peanut butter and bread, go away about your business. And then she's talking about something. So you're gonna be asking me to make your breakfast at 7 o'clock? Not I. Excuse me, not who. First of all, Elijah Wan be lying, okay? Let me tell y'all. Elijah Wan tried to tell Pastor Cal in a little meeting in the beginning that it wasn't a deal breaker for him. It wasn't, something he must have. Then he get up there and tell Katina, oh no, it's like kind of a requirement for my wife. Like, she needs to be in the kitchen cooking, blah, 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 blah. Elijah Wan be lying, okay? I don't know what's up with him, and I'm trying to figure him out. Because I feel like he tell Pastor Cal whatever he wants to hear, and then he does the total opposite to Katina. I don't like that. Because even when he said to Katina, I told her we could both be making breakfast together when Pastor Cal was right there, right? But then he just tell Katina in that kitchen that he expect her to make breakfast for him every morning. I'm like, you just saying what he want to hear so you can make it seem like you doing what you're supposed to do? Absolutely not. Elijah Wan has ADHD, right? Is that what it's called? It's making sense. It's slowly starting to make sense. And I forgot about that in his actions. And this is why he's so much. That's why I'm trying to give him a little bit of grace. But he's controlling. It's coming out slowly but surely. He is controlling. The simple facts that he don't want to have sex with her because he feel like, oh, he's going to be, if it don't work out, he'll be considered an F-boy for having sex with her. The fact that he's trying to get her to cook, go to the grocery store, do all these things. He don't want to change the paint okay, because of the floors and all this other stuff. Hold my hand. Look at the house. We're gonna have the kids running in and out right here. You see it? Look at the house. He has controlling ways about him, and they're slowly starting to slip out. And I'm just gonna sit here because when it happened, I'm gonna be like, I told y'all. Katina, she's a straight shooter when she wanna be. She act like she got all this mouth, but when it comes to Elijah Wan, she never give him that energy that she still got with Lindsey. And I be like, sis, you better come on and step up and say something, because what he's doing is starting to walk all over you. He's training you and molding you to be the type of woman he wants you to be, and you're allowing it. This is why he's testing her. He's testing her to see how far he could push her and how long it's going to take her to say something. And she just keep falling into these little old traps, just falling into it and thinking that it's all okay. Instead of calling him out on his BS and making him correct it, it's going to be a problem. That's going to be some toxic situation. I see it happening. That's all I got.
To Lisa Ray, your Elijah Wan and Katina analysis.
Well, we're only on episode 7. I said I would give him grace until episode 8, and I'm going to stick to that. However, I do want to say that when he was talking to Pastor Cal, and thank you for the reminder about the ADHD. It does, the reminder, because I forgot, and it is making a lot of sense to me why he's all over the place, because he has all these competing ideas in his head and can't nail down one. But I had a whole ass thought. But when he was talking to Pastor Cal, what I saw in him was the kid. It was the kid. Oh, I'm listening. Oh, I'm nervous. Oh, I'm afraid. Oh, wait a minute, it's making sense. You see the doubt, the insecurity showing up in him when he's having the conversations right then and there. And so I said to myself, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. And I was glad that Pastor Cal called him out on the misogyny about the barefoot and pregnant and in the kitchen, because that's how I saw him from day one. Okay. And like I said, I've been trying to give him grace. And although he said it sitting in front of Pastor Cal, didn't I tell you that I was going to make some breakfast? I was going to help you with breakfast. I believe that he is going to. It's going to be peanut butter and bread. He gonna toast the peanut butter and bread, but he gonna do some breakfast every now and again. Maybe he needs to learn how to do oatmeal jars to put them in the refrigerator so they made and you can get them out in the morning and it's easy. But he does need to contribute. So I'm still really trying to give him grace. But I'm looking at Katina and I'm saying to myself, so sis is real refined. We see her having control over her emotions very well as she's speaking to him on camera. And I'm wondering what it looks like off camera. I'm wondering what the conversations look like off camera. She can't possibly not be having more conversations. To me, she feels like the person who, I don't want to put all my business out. What's her name? You know, what's her name? Yes. She feels like that to me, but not as bad. Like she's gonna have the conversation, but I'm not gonna do it right here. I'm gonna just say enough to let you hear me, but you're gonna hear me. And that's my hope, because I would hate that what we're seeing as her resigning on camera all the time is not really what she's doing. Because like Chloe said, if that's the case, then he is priming her and prepping her like pimps do, so that you can go ahead and do what I'm asking you to do. Do what I say as I said. Right. And so for me, that would be an issue. So my hope is that she is behind the scenes, though she's nice and refined in front of us and saying things real nice and giving a little piece here and there, that she's giving it to him behind the scenes. Like, hey, yo, this ain't it. And that whole sex thing. So I kind of feel like, oh Lord, I kind of feel like he holding out because, you know, maybe it's a little missing. Yes, I kind of feel like he don't want to be like, I'm all like flustered over here. Like literally, like I kind of feel like he ain't working with nothing. And so he's holding out and kind of whining her. Yep. And that could be also why Isaac was running through the women like he was, because, you know, he wasn't really able to sustain himself in that area. I feel so bad for saying it, but I'm all like, yo, dude ain't working with nothing. Because by now she's a very attractive woman. Something would have been happening. I don't care. Isaac was too much of an F boy of a for the street for him not trying nothing with her. And so in my mind, I'm all like, yo ain't really working with nothing. So he just trying to like get, what they what they say is get their mind first. That's even pimp mentality is get your mind first, and then everything else is gonna be, everything else is gonna follow. Get her mind, you know what I'm saying? And so this me and my hood self talking, y'all. I'm sorry, but I really feel like, he ain't got it. He just got the gift of gab. He's semi-attractive. He was a football player. He has a home. And then here go my thing. Every season I say the same thing about the home. Because, she's saying he needs like affirming that she likes the house and the decor and the whatever. And so I'm all like, it's going to be a problem. She wants to make changes. And he's all like, oh, no, you just come in the house and just enjoy it. Don't move into nobody's house. Okay, that's my recommendation. And it's going to always be my recommendation. It is a bad move to uproot yourself and move into somebody else's house. Their house that they have stability in, that they've, decorated, and he was proud about the gym and all of this. Listen, sis, he gonna be hollering how it's his house.
They selling that house. Katina not letting him keep that house.
Not that name, honey. Do you think he that's gonna be a whole quarrel in itself about the house? That whole house situation is not gonna go. That's not gonna go nice. That's not gonna go nice. And hopefully she likes him enough, because y'all know how it is when we be liking somebody. Everything we be like when we into you and really feeling you and feel like you're a good guy. All the other stuff, we be like, oh no, it's great. It's great, because sex is 80% mental. It's the 20% is the other part. So hopefully that's why he's really trying to. Listen, I'm done. I'm getting my little ghetto self off of talking, because let me just.
You're perfectly fine.
I've been trying to really like curtail my stuff when I'm on other people's channels, because my little ghetto self, honey, want to say all kind of stuff, and I just be like, okay, calm down, relax.
Hey, be who you are. Be who you are. August love story.
I'm gonna start off by saying, don't ask me questions that you don't want to know the answer to. Those Goodwill coffee curtains were ugly. That's something that your grandmama or your mama picked out because you needed some curtains in your kitchen. Don't ask me if they look nice. No, they do not. Don't ask me if your kitchen is nice if you're not going to take the suggestion that, hey, I think we should change the wall color. Is your gym nice? No. Who picked this ugly color of green to go in the gym? Why? No, it's ugly. Like, it's okay. Things need to be changed. And one of the things that I mentioned in our review, like, Tommy and I bought our first home together, like in the relationship. But when we started dating and we moved in together, I moved into his apartment and then we got our own apartment. It was like pulling teeth to get him to throw away stuff. Like, I had a couch, he had a futon, and he was like, we keeping both of them. Why? We got a couch.
Because I had a futon. That's why. It's like I got furniture now.
So I completely get the whole, like, it has to be even harder when it's not just the material possessions in the house, because like we were beefing about a couch and a futon. She's taking it to I think we might need to change out the kitchen cabinets, change some color, put a new backsplash up. Like, he really not going, because this is my house. At least now with us, we're both in agreement on the changes that we want to make in the house. We're like, okay, we don't like this collectively. What can we do to change it to make it the two of us? But I just look at that and I'm like, girl, I'm sorry for you, but I couldn't do it. Like, this stuff is ugly. You tried to be really nice about telling him that you did not like it, and he wasn't taking it's not my taste in like the way that it should have been taken. Because like saying something's not my taste, like, she didn't outright say his stuff was ugly. She was just like, it's not my style. And y'all can accept that, but he doesn't want to accept it because obviously it's his style, or whoever he had come paint this stuff for him. But I do think that Katina has the potential to stop all of his pushing, because we've seen her, of course it was with Lindsey, but we've seen her like go the extra mile and I'm gonna pop off on you because what you not gonna do is this. I do think that she has a little bit of that off camera and she's not trying to be that on camera. So she sits, she waits, she writes these mental notes in her head, and when the camera cuts out, she tells him what you not gonna do is this. I just think that she needs to do some of that on camera as well. Not saying she has to go that far with it, but when he's asking all these questions, I'm just like, dude, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that she doesn't like it. A lot of people not gonna like your kitchen. A lot of people gonna think that color green in the gym is ugly, but you know she don't have to go down there. Because if I was her, I would never work out with you again. So that's the easy way to keep me out your ugly green gym. You got something?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. Elijah, his misogyny is showing. As y'all be like, your slip is showing. His misogyny is showing. And I hate that about like people's ideas of how a woman should be in a marriage. That's what my grandmother did, you know. She cooked every day. She cleaned, but my grandmother didn't work, you know, which made sense. But nowadays, and they like, we have this big discussion with people and the internet about if a man should pay for everything. You know, I'm like, like a man ain't married to himself. And with today's time, it's like, man, it's unfair to both parties. It's unfair to, in this situation, it's unfair to Katina for him to think that that's her job, is to cook. It bothers me to my core. And it's unfair to him, just so that's what she does. You know, on the flip side, because if she was like, took him literally, okay, I'm a cook, but you take care of everything else. That's not a fair trade to me, because I can cook for myself. I don't need you to cook. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build something with you. So I hate that line of thinking. Also with the sex thing bothered me too, because it's like, Katina, you have to speak up. You sit there and don't say anything. I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing. Just because it doesn't, like, you're not telling me I'm doing something wrong. If you're letting me do this, or if Lily just, you know, every day gets up, goes in the refrigerator and get a beer, right? She doesn't do that because we don't drink beer like that. But if she did that, we obviously know that that's wrong. But if we don't say, hey, stop or get out of there, she's going to continue to do it. And then it's going to get to a point to where it's detrimental to her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Katina must step up and say, hey, I don't like this. And off camera, on camera, she needs to check him. He needs to stop testing her like she's some child or something. But she needs to nip that in the bud, because like, now is the time for you to show yourself. Now is the time that this is who I am. You know, you're going to hate it or love it. We got 8 weeks, or at this point, what, 7 weeks to make a decision on if I want to spend the rest of my life with you, or, you know, go past the 10, whatever. And so it's like, step up, say something. Elijah, quit acting like a child. Quit coming in this thing with the idea that a woman should be barefoot and pregnant and cook for me. Because that's essentially what his idea is. And he knows it sounds bad. That's the thing. He knows that, no, I don't want it to sound that way, but I want her to cook for me.
And I'll say this, like, saying that you want your wife barefoot and pregnant is not a bad thing, but you need to go and seek out a woman that wants to be barefoot and pregnant. You don't go find a woman that wants to be a career woman and be like, no, I need you to have a career and I need you to come home and cook every single night, because that's not what she is striving to be. You're trying to mold her into what you want her to be. Now, something she did say was she'll make sure he's fed every day, but she's not cooking. Elijah needs to go order him some Hello Fresh, and he needs to learn how to, he chops, she sautés, we put some stuff in the oven, and we figure it out together, because somebody's got to give in this, and I think it needs to be Elijah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't be like Katina's like you will eat, and that is the important part. It's kind of like the income with Steve and Noy. The money is there. We need to eat. We can eat healthy. However, am I going to be the one to go in the kitchen and make sure that everything is like in a skillet or a pot for you? No, that's not me. But I get it. She just has to say it like more directly to him.
I just don't feel like he dictates too much, and she doesn't like. It's not a planned thing. Like if he's like, "Oh, I like my lady to cook," but
now she's in the cooking.
Right? How do you like to do? Like, what do you like to do?
And then Chloe said it best. You was eating a peanut butter sandwich beforehand. In what part of the contract of marriage did it say you had to stop doing it?
Right. I don't understand that at all.
Say you had to.
No.
That don't make sense to me at all. Like, what if y'all wake up at different times? She ain't finna get up and cook you nothing, and you not finna get up and cook her nothing.
Right. Or what if her job takes her out of town?
Right.
It's and like, you know the one time when Pastor Cal came in and she said, I cook spaghetti and garlic bread because y'all know that's his requirement. I said
that was sarcasm. She was
it was sarcasm.
It's a 1950 cell phone.
She's thinking in her head that this is what he really requires of me as a wife. And I think she's starting to second guess whether or not this is something she wants altogether. Because you saw how she sat down and she looked at him when she said to Pastor Cal, like, and then when he said, "Oh, I didn't say it was a deal breaker," and she was like, "Oh, you didn't tell him it was a deal breaker." Like what?
Yeah, wait, you telling us to pull his coattail and said you didn't say it was a deal breaker. You did not say that this was a requirement for you. Yeah. Right. So, sir, what are you talking about? Like
it can't be a deal breaker.
He's still trying to convince himself. That's all.
Yeah. It can't be a deal breaker in 2022. Okay. Like I'm a witness. Like my mother was a public health nurse, so she worked 9 to 5, and she still came home and we either had dinner fixed or she fixed it. But she came. My mom was born in 1937. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to her mom and everything. They were housewives, like you said, Tommy. You know what I'm saying? And it can't be a deal breaker with you. I was going to say same thing as you, Artika, just like Stephen Noy. Is the goal to have nutrition, sustenance, or is it for me to cook? Because you going to eat. We going to eat. We not going to starve. But I'm not getting in that kitchen. I said on our review, when you get married, you don't get married to come down from where you were already at. Were you eating before you got married? Then we do this. We're going to build upon that. If I cook something for you, that's an added thing. If I don't cook something for you, you still going to eat because you was eating before you got here. I said the same thing. You can still grab your peanut butter and your bread sandwich and go right on out the door. Because if you go to work at 6 o'clock, I'm talking about Jackie. You go to work at 6 o'clock, I promise you, I will not be up and fixing no breakfast at no 6 o'clock. Now, if you want it at 8, I can help you with that, but not at 6.
She won't be up at 6.
I'm not going to get, he know, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't have to start work till 7:30. I'm not getting up at 6. You know what I'm saying? And then I felt like, again, that was a little bit of testing too, when he was talking about the breakfast thing. You know, it's like, let me see how far I can push her. Let me see if she's going to give into, okay, I'll fix you breakfast every day. Yeah, okay, got that. That worked. Let me try some other things. It was some testing. For the sex thing, okay, Elijah, stop it. Stop. I was like, bruh, you lacking some confidence in that area. That's what it is. What if she don't like? Yeah. So that's what's holding you back, because he probably used to. I thought about this with Keith. It was Keith, right? Keith and Iris. Keith's thing with Iris was, Keith was used to women falling all over him and just throwing the candy dish at him. And Iris didn't do that. I think it's the same thing with Elijah. he's used to women just falling over him. That's how Isaac was getting it. You know what I'm saying? They was like, oh my God, he got muscles. Oh my God, he played football. And they was like dropping the draws. And Katina seen him and was like, okay, I like it. And she ain't just dropped them right away. He like, oh shoot, I gotta do some work. The tricks I used to use it's not gonna work this time. I gotta find a different way. So he's trying to come up with something, you know what I'm saying? And then he really, I'm with you, Chloe and Talisa. I think he's like, let me go look at some books and some videos because I'm gonna have to try something different with her. So I think he's feeling inadequate, like, I don't know. Cause ain't no way you was out there screwing and scrumping like that. And now all of a sudden you like, no, I'll wait. I'll take mine later.
He's trying to make sure his marriage is right, according to him. I'm gonna use quotation marks.
But even this, if you watch After Party, Keisha asked that. It's like, okay, so how are y'all doing that? Do you have a code word? Like, no, stop.
She said don't even get there.
Right. She said they don't do it. They don't do no heavy petting. They don't do the stuff that will go in that direction.
So how is he controlling himself?
Me.
The million dollar question is, how is he controlling himself? We'll get to Lindsey later, but again, how is he controlling himself from being Isaac to being
Don't
Elijah?
get me started.
So
Don't get me started.
How is he? Because if you can't go from Isaac, who's getting it on a regular with women all over the place, to not getting it now on a regular basis. Something's going on with Elijah on he's fulfilling his need. Listen, it's a grown folks channel. Let's talk. Let's have
Listen, no, my first thing is this. My old pastor used to say this. If you're dating a man and he is not trying to be all over you, you need to stop and pause and question what's happening. Even if you both agree to abstain, to be celibate until you get married, the man is gonna try it. He's gonna rub up on you. Y'all gonna be grinding and whatnot. Something is happening. If he is not, there's only one of two things that could be happening. He's really not that interested in you. You are not his type. He is not on your team, or there's someone else he is fooling with. So what is the thing? And I'm not trying to say either of those for him. Even though I be feeling like men that overcompensate with the whole Isaac situation, having some other stuff happening. But I ain't gonna talk about that because it's not episode 8. I'm gonna chill out a little bit. I just said that it's something. What is it? What is that thing?
I'll give you a third thing. It don't work.
Maybe they're running. What was that?
She said
I'll give you a third thing. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Not into you. He got somebody else, or it doesn't work.
It don't work. I like the third one.
I'm gonna get them. Maybe they lying to us like Ryan and Claire.
Let me tell you something. If they gave that girl somebody who things don't work, we got a problem. We got a whole problem. I mean, it gotta at least work. Now I could show you the thing too, but it gotta at least work.
It gotta work with the shortness, but it gotta work.
It gotta work. Now he got a mouth.
Where you at, Tommy? Where you at, Tommy? I need you, Tommy. I'm by myself. What's up, dog? I'm by myself. They're talking bad. I'm breakfast right here.
He said he eats the chicken right now. He's gonna be right back.
But what I want to say, if you really look at Katina, when all the time Elijah brought up the cooking situation, she really was talking out the side of her neck. She was slick talking, trying to get back at him. Oh, you eat. No, I'm gonna bring you some food from this restaurant I just reviewed. You can get this reviewed restaurant food, but I'm not gonna be in this kitchen cooking all the time. If he really wants her to cook and he wants to build a relationship up, what needs to happen is they need to, like you said, HelloFresh, do something where they can cook together. Okay, Elijah, I know you didn't eat peanut butter sandwiches every day, 3 meals a day. How did you eat? Right? Did you go to your sister's house, your brother's house all the time to eat? What did you do? Okay. Hey, and even from her, transparency. I don't cook very well. I only can cook this. I don't expect you to cook every night. He'd be like, I don't expect you to cook every night. But what can we do? How can we eat? How can we partner together? And I think that's where the communication comes in at. It's not about the cooking every night, because that viewpoint is all. Like I said, my mom still cooks for my dad every day, right? But my mother been a housewife. When I got married, I didn't bring that into my marriage. Because again, I lived in college. I lived in my own apartment. No, I love to cook. I was going to be a chef, right? But I lived in my own apartment. I knew how to cook. So I came into the marriage like, okay, you work, let's find our schedules. Even we had different schedules. Matter of fact, truth be told, she'll tell you, I cooked so much one time where she's like, Dan, can you let me cook? Can you let me be a woman and cook?
No, not even let me be a woman, but I was like, what am I supposed to do? What I'm supposed to do? I want to do something because I didn't want my kids thinking, oh, my daddy cook all the time. My mama don't cook nothing. She can't cook.
But that's what my daughter say all the time. I don't look. My husband teaching my daughter how to cook. I'm the one that don't cook. They be looking at me crazy.
Right. So y'all gotta have that balance. You gotta have that balance in there. I think that's what he doesn't understand. It can be a balance. It can be a thing that we can do together. That's good. We can take that HelloFresh recipe card and go to work, right? Or we get these meals that you ain't got to cook it, right? And we ain't got to cook. We just throw that bad boy in the microwave and the food is good. So that's one of the things that's there. The sex thing, Elijah won't want sex for that girl, right? He wants sex for some way. I think they're having sex, just not telling everybody. I think they're lying. I think they're having sex because if you see the way he be hugging up on her, grabbing her booty, laying in the bed, if they look all cuddling, all nice and neat. Now he might be too sweaty for her. Maybe she don't want it because she said he was too sweaty, right? He's sweating too much, and that's a whole different. I'm not going into allegations and all that, but he's sweating a lot, right? But again, she may not want that as well. But again, you're married, and at this point, 10 days in, and I know you don't see her naked, right? Well, hopefully you have, right? And hopefully she done seen you. There got to be something going on, heavy petting or whatever case may be. But again, especially from, and this is why I think he's kind of lying. For a person who wanted to be married so bad and who wanted to be engaged in a relationship and do every aspect of marriage so bad, and you're not trying your wife who you love and she looks beautiful and all this after 10 days, nah, somebody lying.
It was the one other thing I wanted to say that, and I just had a little joke about the house thing. So for us, when he moved down here, he moved in where I was. But I didn't make him feel like he was moving into my house. It was our house. As soon as I had a chance, we got a mortgage together on it. You know what I mean? And then our plan, we got somewhere else. But you got to make sure that, you know, if your spouse is moving in with you, that you don't have that attitude that it's my house. I can put you out, give my key back, all of that. But about Elijah's house, that's his grandma's house. That's his grandma's house. When they walked in, I was like, I'm telling you, his grandma, great aunties, this somebody's house that he got. And then the kids playing outside. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Those are solid yellow lines on that street. That's a street. That's a highway.
It's a highway. Them kids can't play out there.
Ain't no kids playing out there. Not no dotted white line or no line. The street I live on don't have no line. We're in a cul-de-sac. It had two solid yellow lines. I said, good gosh. Ain't nobody play. Because you walk out your door, you right in the street. We're going to have a problem.
But I tell him to sell his house, right?
No.
But this is what you learn when you get married. There's some things, especially you're a man. And, you know, Atika said a little bit about the futon. Tommy had a futon in college too, right?
Did.
I love that futon, dog. It was me, right? But
I had a couch.
But when I moved, that futon stayed in Baltimore. Because I knew there was no room in the townhouse, right?
But you brought your bed. You put your bed in the other bedroom.
I put my bed in the other bedroom. So we made some provisions. Yeah. But again, when a woman steps into a building, a woman steps into a room, she's always gonna make there's always some things that she likes. Because a man just can't do it like a woman can in certain situations or circumstances when it comes to decorating and things of that nature. And so she saw some things. That's why when you have it together, you can be like, you know what? How do you want to design this? She feels like she's a part of your home. You don't feel no type of way when she come and say, you know what? Those coffee curtains, they're ugly. That brown, that green right there, nope, can't do that. That wood panel, no. And I appreciate the fact the brother has a house. I'm not knocking the fact that he has a house. I'm glad he has a home. Congratulations. But when you bring a woman into your home, just know that they're going to change some things that you already have. Mm-hmm. And so don't take it on your chin, on your chest, even if it's your grandma's house. She has to put a woman's touch there and to make it feel like home for her. And it may be changing the color. It may be doing some things in the kitchen. We had no problem with Claire talking about, yo, Ryan, you need to fix this. You need to fix that. You need to do this. So let's let Katina come in and do what she need to do. And bro, if you need to sell the house so you can enlarge that family, sell the house. You know. So, are we anybody anything else on Katina and Elijah? Go ahead.
I don't have nothing on them. I just wanted to say, now that we're talking about houses, I forgot to say, I was so upset that I didn't get that van life. Steve didn't show us his van. That's it. That's all. I wanted to tell y'all cannot tell me. When he said he was traveling in the van, I just knew it was going to be decked out. He was going to have a little bed over here, a little sink. I wanted to see that. And
he's going to have lights all around.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the LED lights in the apartment. I was like, you know what, Steve, I'm disappointed now. Forget it.
Right. Well, you know, we didn't see Katina's house neither.
Or Jasmina's.
Right.
That's true. I did want to say, my futon, like, you have to realize my futon was the only thing that I had in my living room, aside from a TV. So
Me too, Tom.
When she brought her couch in, I was like, shoot, I done made it, man. Like, we got a couch, we got options now. You know,
Right.
so that's what it was.
Y'all connected to them daggone futons.
Yeah,
I had a futon too, but I wasn't connected to it like that. As soon as I got the opportunity to get rid of mine, I was like, all right, later, bye.
I'm gonna just tell y'all the best and worst thing that ever happened to us was our apartment catching on fire, because it forced him to get rid of some things. Like, we were only able to salvage actual wood furniture. So it's like now everything that we have is things that we've acquired together, because he was not letting that futon or them pressed plywood tables go. I was like, goodness, this got to get out of the house.
All right.
He looked a little sad. He did look a little sad there.
Yeah. So we mentioned Jasmina and Michael. So let's go there with Jasmina and Michael. I just gotta ask it this way: why bro lie about his roommates, right? Why did bro lie about his roommates? We can start with August love story. Why bro lie about his roommates?
Let me go first.
Go ahead.
Get it out the way. I don't know why this nigga lied, man. I'm sorry. Excuse my language, man. But I was like, you just up here lying.
To be lying.
Just you like, it's like, bro, like, come on, man. She told you she lives with a boy. You can obviously then be like, yeah, that's cool. I live with 2 girls.
That don't sound good.
We not having sex or anything like that. They're just, you know, they're roommates. You know what I'm saying? And keep it pushing. Like, he's trying his best to mess this up the best way he can. And I don't think it's on purpose. That's crazy, right? Like, I don't think he's purposely trying to mess it up, but I think he's trying to mess it up. But it's like you take opportunities like that. That simple question, we talk about things and just bring the conversations up of how do you like, it's like you tell the truth, it brings it into another conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so me trying to get to know you, we talk about us living with the opposite sex, but then you can obviously, what he was trying to say was, or what he said he was trying to do was say that he never lived with a spouse or significant or a girlfriend, which, okay, I get that. There's a difference with roommates and girlfriends, you know, and significant others. So I get saying that, but just come out and tell the truth. Like, that's the simplest thing to do. Lead it to another conversation. And then what was her thing? Him yelling at her. Like, she just, like, he probably didn't yell at her. He probably had a tone that she didn't like, and immediately it's yelling, because I do that. Like, ain't nobody gonna yell at me because my mama don't yell at me, you know. And that's my thing. It's like, I'm a grown man. You talk to me like you got some sense, because I'm gonna talk to you like I got some sense. So I think she probably heard it one way, and he's like, no, you ain't finna do this. Like, yeah, I lied, but I ain't yell at you. Kind of like, godly, man, he just really messing that up. And she's to the point where she's looking forward to him messing it up. Not happily, but she's expecting him to say something stupid. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's already made her decision to say no. I wouldn't be surprised that it's nothing that he could possibly do to get her to say yes at this point.
Michael is not a good name for Married at First Sight, because when Michael was married to Mika, Michael was a liar. Michael that is married to Jasmina is a liar. And I don't understand this lie just did not make sense. Like, it wasn't a good lie. It wasn't a lie that he like could have gotten away with. We went to the house and the girl walked out. Like, the only thing you could have said was, that's my roommate's girlfriend. And that would have just kept the lie going. But
That's a good lie.
That's what I ain't.
If you gonna lie, do it right.
I mean, and be quick with it. Get them lies out. But to say no, I guess he didn't lie when he said, I've never lived with a woman, because I live with two. He found the loophole in his lie.
Playing semantics.
It was just like, Jasmina sat at their wedding, pointed to this man at a table and said, hey, that guy right there, that's my best friend. We live together. At that moment, he should have reconciled within himself that, hey, it's okay to let her know that my two roommates are women, because you have a male roommate. Like, and it doesn't have to be anything between the two of you guys. I know, like, when I was in college, summer school, we had the wildest, like, sleeping arrangements, because, like, people's roommates were going and studying abroad in the summer and going home. So guys and girls that weren't dating or even had any type of thought of being together were like, I'm gonna take the other room in your apartment and I'm gonna help you pay rent so I don't have to find somewhere else to live. So things like that happen all the time. Not so much in your 30s, but whatever. I'm gonna let that go. But they are, it's just like, why tell that lie? I couldn't get past that lie. And then Jasmina saying that Michael yelled at her. I do think, like Tommy said, it might not have been a yell, but it might have been a tone of voice, or the wording was something that offended her. And she's like, what you're not going to do is talk to me crazy. Because when she said, now Michael, I'm like, your voice is a little bit escalated too. Like, let's bring that down. If we want to say that I'm up here, you can bring it down too, because we can have a conversation. And the way that he was attempting to defend himself with Pastor Cal, because Pastor Cal started, he was like, hey,
hold on, I gotta get this out. Hold on.
I gotta finish this thought, because what she's not gonna do is lie on me on that one. Now, at this point, because everybody's lying, because Jasmina lied about the dog and
I was like, man, just tell them straight up, man. You don't want to stay here because you still trying to figure out like what's going on.
Everybody's lying. Nobody wants to be together. We're just here so we don't get fined. That's where I am with Michael and Jasmina. I really, really had high hopes for them, but there's something that's just not clicking. I mean, it's before he lied like he did. It was something that wasn't clicking there, and I can't figure it out. I don't know what could have been done outside of not lying to help them get back on a path to like being able to say, oh, we could make it to week 8. Because at this point, it's like, I don't see a point. You don't see a point. So we just here. Now I'm just going to argue every little thing that you say because you're a liar. And that's on both sides.
Talisa.
Why can't I get my thing? Oh, here we go. I was like, why can't I get it off of mute? So yeah, I'm not gonna give her any space because he lied by omission. I'm not gonna give her any space. I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it. He did lie by omission. Yes, he lied twice by omission. He had every opportunity to share it, but she's in a constant lie because she doesn't want to be there at all. So that's an entirely different type of lie than just lying about my 2 little roommates I got that don't like me like you don't like me. They don't like me intimately like you don't like me. You're not attracted to me. And my biggest thing with them is neither one of them wants to relinquish, like, I'm right. You know what I mean? It's the I'm right. No, you wrong. You did this. Nobody knows how to just sit back and say, this is what I'm accountable for. Yes, you're absolutely right. I had every opportunity to tell you that I had 2 roommates and I missed it. Instead, you're going to go ahead and further the omission by saying you didn't have the opportunity, or it didn't come up, or, I didn't have a roommate, or I didn't live with a woman or whatever. Like, neither one of them really wants to be accountable, because honestly, sitting there watching them talk to Pastor Cal, I'm all like, she's a bit of a hothead too. If she's talking about he's yelling at her, it comes off very assertive the way she's talking to him. It comes off very superior. Now, Michael, what we're not going to do that. Like, to me, that's very like, I'm above you, you're beneath me, and what you're not going to do is sit here and pretend like I be wanting the black couples to win. I be wanting them to win. That's my favorite thing to say. I be wanting them to win, but this time they are not going to win at this rate. Her talking about, she was going to check on Feeny. So Feeny not coming to the house? You got to get a daycare for 8 weeks, or 7 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever. What's happening? And just instead of saying, I need a reset because I don't know if I want to be in this relationship. We knew this. I actually think that this is kind of my favorite way to get to know somebody. Like, I get to tell you everything I feel and not feel bad because I've been dating you and courting you and I like you. I get to tell you, you ain't shit, sir. And you think you better than everybody, ma'am. Like, I get to tell you that. Like, this, I don't know. If I was younger, I probably would have went on Married at First Sight just so I could show people how it's done. Because the fact of the matter is, nobody is being honest with not just their partners, but with themselves. I need to be honest with me and say that this is not where I want to be. And as I'm sitting here with Pastor Cal and I'm having this conversation about transparency and honesty and communication, and just tell him that I am not your enemy. I know you fucking lying. What is that gonna do? I don't understand the point of that, Pastor Cal. Some of the stuff you be giving is not the right answer. Like, some of the direction, I'd be like, just tell him to be quiet and let them just talk, and he's just the person there to stop them from fighting, because he doesn't do a good job of giving like direction or homework or things to do. But that's just my own shit that I'm sitting on. He giving that whole like pastor counseling that you give. You can make it work. Everything can work. Like, so I don't know. But I just feel like for one, she is playing a part in this failing relationship just as he is. And I'm not going to just put it on poor Michael, even though Michael is Michael number 2, the liar. But she also has some, just like Mika has some part in that relationship. She is contributing to the downfall of this relationship, and they are spiraling fast. And there is I don't see a way of them coming up either, Tommy. I don't see them coming out of this spiral. Like, I'm all like, okay, well, let's just call it quits. Let's play patty cake and sit and watch TV and order pizza and be homies. You sleep in that room, I'm gonna sleep in this one, and get our little money. That's it. Because how do they rectify this is now my question. If they really want to continue and be married, what is it that they do? I don't have an answer for them. I don't have an answer. I mean, I should. I'm a wife coach. I don't have a fucking answer. I don't have an answer.
Chloe, do you have an answer?
If she ain't got one, I definitely ain't got one for y'all. No, but this is the thing, right? Michael said he ain't never lived with a woman, never. That's his exact words was he never lived with a woman, right? In the conversation where she brought up the fact that she lived with a male roommate was the perfect time to put it out there, right? But he still went with it. He said, this is new territory for me, as if he then reinstated that new territory like he never lived with a woman. I was like, Michael's a liar. We know Michael's a liar, but it's Jasmina for me, okay? I'm gonna tell you why. When Jasmina told him that she was going to go find a dog daycare for the dog, we was like, cool. But then she told us later, well, no, we wasn't like cool. We was like, girl, get that dog and come over here. What you talking about? But then she said she really just needed to go reset. So tired of everybody going home to reset. Like, who in real marriages get to go home and reset? Like, nobody goes somewhere to go reset. You either gonna go to the corner store or come back home. You're gonna sit in the bed, look at each other stupid until somebody decide that they need something from the kitchen. You want to get someone some food? Okay. And then y'all talk again, right? No one goes home to reset. That's what she told us. When she went to Michael's house, the first thing she did when she walked in that man room, who is that? You talking about that silhouette picture that clearly looks like nobody? That it has no color to it, it's all blue. That picture? Who is that? What? Jasmina, what? I was like, oh, she ready. See, Jasmina went in fishing. She went in with the hand rub, like, let me go in. She's like, I'm looking for the kinky drawer. Remember, she said, I'm looking for the, you know, she's looking for something to start a problem because homegirl don't want him. She goes into the living room. It's, oh, so you like crystals? Whose golf clubs is those? So where your roommates at? Y'all hang out a lot? She was literally, she knew what was up. She was trying to get it out so that she could find another reason to beat him down in the back. Michael didn't make it easy. Did not make it easy because when the ghost of Christmas past went in the bathroom, I was like, you're not going to come say hi? Girl, you're not going to stop by and say, what's up? Nothing? Okay, you're just going to go in the room? Okay, cool. Then Michael tried to, he told her he did have one that he tried to tell. Then she had to ask again later for the second one. Too much, Michael. But it's something that we can overlook just a little bit, because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's sus. It's real sus. I ain't gonna hold you. It's real sus because now I'm just wondering why you ain't want to tell nobody. Why you ain't want to tell her what's the relationship like? Why she sneak in the room so fast? Why she ain't stop by to get a quick wave? Why she ain't say hi off camera? Why she just go in the room like you didn't just come back from vacation? She ain't see you for a couple of days. Okay, never mind. I ain't even gonna go there. It's sus. Okay. Then we found out he has two. Jasmina sat down in front of Pastor Cal, and when they started talking, she tried to tell Pastor Cal that he was being, she doesn't like the way he talks to her when he gets angry because he's being loud and his tone and everything. But she did the same exact thing she accused him of doing. Now, Michael, we are not going to do this. Now, Michael, you are not going to. To the point, Michael was like, and I'm like, oh, so he can't do it, but you could do it. Last time I checked, every time me and my husband get in some type of argument, a real argument of some sort, we get a little loud, we get a little tone. That's normal, okay? So, okay, he said, I admit, I had a tone. If you want to say that, I had a tone. If you want to say I was this, but when you go out to try to say that this man is aggressive and got the nerve to say that he said himself that he's aggressive, now I have a problem with you because he never said that. And that's why Michael had to get it out so bad because he was like, oh, whoa, aggressive? Not the word, sis. You're not about to put that on me. You're not about to put that on me. And I'm just sitting here like everything she said was a problem for her. She said and did to him. She was condescending. She had the tone. She even got a little loud. And I was like, Jasmina, you sure you wasn't in on that conversation? You sure you wasn't arguing back? Because it's giving you was arguing back, sis. Don't play with me. Okay.
You know, and one thing we saw from Michael, this is one thing, even when he disagreed with her leaving, he did it respectfully. He like, I don't think we could be together. I don't think. So to me, what we as viewers saw, if he was able to do that respectfully, how many other conversations that they had that he done respectfully? You know, that she probably blew out of proportion because he would raise his voice a little bit. To me, even then he raised his voice like, yo, I think we should be this. I think we should be together. I think we should. I read through the crap. So when she said, I want to go home. For your dog where's your dog been at for the last 10 days that y'all been gone? Right? What the dog been at? Keep the dog where it's at right now. Whoever's hanging on to the dog, so you know what, we're gonna stay right there, right? Or if you love that dog so much, and Michael, can the dog come with us? Can the dog sleep with us? Let's have another conversation. So he knew what time it was when she decided to leave. So he was like, okay, cool, and let it fly. With the roommate situation, you know, bro should have been like, you know what, I got two female roommates. Even if I agree with you, Chloe, even in one of those situations where, you know what, it's been a couple late nights, I've been feeling some type of way, you was feeling some type of way,
and we fell up in
each other. You know what I'm saying? We fell in. Let it be what it is. Even if it's a situationship, let it be like that. But for him to say, I've never lived with a woman where your roommates are women, nah, dog. And first of all, but see, then again, is he that dumb? Because if I knew I was living with 2 women, and I ain't want my girl to know I was living with 2 women, I'd be like Christina from New Orleans. You can't come to my apartment right now. I don't even live in my apartment, right?
It's gonna be a van life tour.
I live with my sister. I would call my sister like, yo, can you get my stuff out of my apartment and bring to your house and act like I live in one of your rooms, right? So let's be honest. So so there are some things that's shaky about his story, and I think he was I gave him on the after party. He was like, you know what, I didn't know what she was saying, and I kind of give him that because he was so tired of her talking and yelling at him that he'd probably block that junk out. I know y'all shaking your head now. He lied.
She brought it up in the context of talking about having a male roommate. It wasn't like it was like a weird, like just random question. Like she brought it up in that context, and he was like, "Oh no, that's new territory for me."
He's scared. He was scared. He was scared to admit because there's something going on with him and one of his roommates. I'm sorry. To me, I think one of his roommates, they did something, or he don't want his roommate to say something to her or say something of that nature. Him and one of his roommates had some type of relationship. I'm not gonna try to insinuate. They had some type of thing that was going on, and I don't know any as a guy perspective. Tommy, maybe you can help me out. We ain't gonna lie. We ain't gonna let her not come to our apartment. If there was nothing, oh come on in. If there was nothing, we're gonna say, yo, this is so and so. This is so and so. When you don't want no one to know, you lie. That's what guys do. I'm sorry. I might be breaking a man code. Y'all just,
some females do it too. Some females do it too. And then again, like we said, let's not be mincing words. When I say female, I mean female. I didn't say, have you ever lived with a girlfriend? Have you ever lived with a fiance? Have you ever been married before? When I said female, I meant female. So don't sit there and try to insinuate, oh, I thought you had meant that it was. Yeah, I thought, no, I said, have you lived with a female? That can include your sister, your auntie, your cousin, your grandma. That's your female, ain't she?
Maybe
so he should
definitely have to include his sisters because his sisters took care of him after his mom died. Like
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you stop mincing words and call it what it is. You live with a female. I'm thinking he probably didn't say it because the fact of the matter is I live with 2. And he was like, God dog, if I tell her 1, that's one thing. If I tell her 2, oh Lord, what's getting ready to happen now? I agree with Chloe. She did. I said the same thing. When she walked in there, what's this? What's that? Who's this? Where's that? Why is this like that? Who's that? Look at this stuff over here in the corner. She was like, I'm going to find something. I'm going to find something. And then when whoever that was came out the bathroom, in the room, she was like, there it is. There it is right there. I got it.
Just hearing the comment, because I never thought about any of those things. I couldn't understand why he lied about it. Even if I had hit one of them chicks and and stuff like that, if that happened, I would probably still be like, yeah, I live with 2 females and act as if nothing has ever happened.
Right.
But that's the player in me. So the thing that I feel like was Jasmina knew he was lying. Like somebody, because it's so weird that the girl just came out at that time. Like she didn't know that people were in her house recording, because that's when watching it, that's what it looked like. It looked like, oh, she was coming out because they were recording, didn't want to be on TV or didn't sign the paper or whatever it was. But as a roommate, she knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. When somebody's in your home.
If you're gonna have a production crew come to my house, you're at least gonna shoot me a text message and be like, by the way, they're gonna be there at 11. I don't know how long we're gonna be shooting. Maybe you don't need to be here.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know. But Michael just has, if he's gonna tell lies, he's gotta tell better lies. Because that just wasn't the lie to tell.
Right, like you wasting lies, man. That's the problem. That was a wasted lie.
That stuff up. Use it for a good account of the right occasion.
Like, man, like the thing is, it's like you gotta look at it like this. If you lie to your wife, and at this point they're married, if you lie to your wife, she can't help you because you're not being truthful to her. if you hit one of these chicks, tell her it's okay.
Right.
You
And you know what? It's okay. You know why it's okay, Tommy? It's before her. It's not like I was dating. It's okay because it's before her.
Right.
Yeah.
That was our whole sentiment with Chris and Paige. Like Paige was like, well, I mean, he didn't cheat on me to get this baby, so I mean, I'm here.
Right.
You have a point. So it's like it's just, I don't know, man. That was just stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
so the other thing that I wanted to touch on too is, okay, so him being aggressive and using a tone and yelling at her. So again, it was so many things on this episode that I was like this is like you in my house. You in my house. Because
I don't have two roommates living in. I don't have two girls living in the house, y'all. And she not in the house. There ain't no extra women in here.
No, because I said this. Sometimes when you're used to being talked to a certain way, just because somebody raises their voice, you want to call it yelling. And it's not yelling. You're just not used to somebody talking to you like that. You know what I'm saying? So I tell my husband that, you know, he don't yell at me or nothing. It's just, again, he's used to talking to male athletes. He's used to talking to his clients. And so it's real direct. And sometimes, you know, because you got to get these little jokers from climbing the wall and stuff, you be like, hey, get down. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't yelling. It's just got to put some bass in his voice. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I kept thinking. I was like, she's just, I doubt he's yelling at her. It's just the tone that she's not used to. And then on the flip side too, she Gail King'd him. Robert, right? She said, Michael, like she got to do them little toddlers. Get off don't climb on the bookcase. Get down. She did the same thing to him. She did the exact same thing to him.
If she knew his middle name, she would have called his whole name.
She sure would have. And I was like, let's see. And I'm with him. I think in that moment, it went through, you know, domestic stuff went through his mind. You know, you're not going to portray me as an aggressor. You're not going to have these people try, because what you try to almost hit at is that if I hadn't stopped him, he would have hit me. If it was that close, I'm telling you. So he was like, no, because they're going to talk about us anyway because we're on a TV show. But what you're not going to have them doing is got them thinking I'm beating your tail when the camera's outside. Because you don't do none of this on camera, Mike. Ain't that what she said? Yep. The camera's not around when he do this. And he said,
you absolutely right. She said he's not at a 10 when he gets like this.
So I wasn't mad at him at all. And the one thing, I mean, it was kind of corny the way Pastor Cal said it, but like me and my husband have done that too. He don't say, you know, I'm not an enemy. I'm going to tell you a business. I'm going to tell you about the man of God. I have literally had my husband in the middle of a disagreement. He said, not today, devil. He said, not calling me the devil, but recognizing that this is a point of contention where it would try to bring division in between us. And I think that's what Pastor Cal was trying to say.
I can see it, but I agree with how not today, devil, because we say, not today, Satan. We do it all the time. But that whole I am not your enemy, I don't think that's going to work for them. That's not the right verbiage for them.
That's what I'm saying.
But I understand it. Yes, I agree.
He might have to rebuke the devil. Like, the devil, you cannot come in and interrupt my marriage. I don't know what your plan or your scheme is, but I rebuke, you know what I'm saying?
But you know, I agree. But Talisa, I agree with you because you know what? I think she has daddy issues or she has male issues.
Oh yeah.
So when
we know she got daddy issues because her daddy left her and went to Jamaica.
Right. So she doesn't understand. It goes back to that tone. When you have not been used to when you have not been talked to by a male, you see this a lot.
It ain't nothing but the base. It's nothing but the base.
You see this in a lot of young men today too, right? When young men are talked to by a real man, they try to buck up because they're not used to the fact that a man is talking to them and haven't had that experience. And sometimes when women do that too, if you have not been talked to by a man, not that he's yelling or fussing, that he just got a little bit bass in his voice, then they revert back to that little kid And then she treated him like he was a little kid. That Michael was like, hey, you're a toddler. And I know Pastor Cal, and because she did this, and I say this, she did this because Pastor Cal was there. She felt safe with Pastor Cal in the room. I don't think she does this when it's just them two.
Well, no, her stepdaddy said she was bossy and don't let her boss you around. So I think that's probably Michael's thing too. Like, he keep hearing the stepdaddy in his ear. So somebody said in the chat she's spoiled. I believe it. She's spoiled.
Yeah. So let's move on to Mock the Shock. Mock the Shock.
Poor thing.
And Lindsey being his mama.
Poor thing.
We're gonna start with you, Talisa. Your thoughts on Mock the Shark and Lindsey being, was Lindsey too overbearing for Mock the Shark?
Yes. If that's the question and that's all I got to answer, the whole answer is yes. Wholeheartedly, everything about it. But one thing that I picked up on is that she is uber critical of him. Super critical. And it just made me look when they were brushing their teeth. And she said, he brushes teeth with his whole head. I was thinking to myself, sis, pull up. Like, you are going to critique this man to death. His clothes, his hygiene, the way he walks, the way he dressed, the way he talks. You are going to push him away. And we can see that you want to be married and in this relationship, but you are going to push him all the way away. And I feel so bad for Mark because the only time he felt safe to open up his mouth and to express himself was when Pastor Cal was there. For him to say, I'm afraid to talk, to me says that she is a monster off the camera. So we've seen a little glimpse, right? We've seen a little bit of her spark at the honeymoon, but I can only imagine the things that she says to him off camera. I feel like she degrades him and berates him off of camera. We don't see it all. You know, she had the nerve to say he's, has this duality and he's one way on camera and is a different way on when the camera's off. He's detached when the camera's off. He's detached because you're in his skin and not just doing everything, wanting to do everything and tell him what to do, but you're on top of him being very, I could say the word because she a white lady, aggressive, okay? Being very, very just mean and just, I could just tell, like, it's like his spirit is down. And yes, he does have a lot of stuff going on with the bed bugs and the roommate and the landlord, all of that nasty stuff that's happening. I didn't start itching. Just, that's a lot to deal with on top of your overbearing wife who wants you to tell her every single thing about what's going on so that she can tell you how to move. I was proud of him for him saying that I need you to slow down. I tried to tell you that I wanted you to slow down, but the reaction wasn't what I was hoping for. I told you, sex was great the first time. And then it felt like something was off the second and third time. That something that was off was the fact that he said, saw you on the plane and how you acted with Elijah and that behavior. So now I don't want to be intimate with this aggressive woman. Who is this nasty, mean woman who I'm going to have to defend? And wait a minute, you bucking at this black man and I'm going to have to defend you. I'm going to get my ass beat. You finna have me get my ass beat. Like, all of that just changed the trajectory of me wanting to be intimate with you. On top of it's already moving faster than I would have liked it to move, right? He probably would have preferred to wait till he got back home, got to know her, laughed, been romantic, got home and gave it to her, but that's not how it works. And then her like, her breakdowns that she has, like when she starts crying, I'm all like, what I recognize is that she's sensitive. And so it's either, and I hate to say it with a lot of people that are emotional, that don't manage their emotions well, you're either really high and you're angry or you're crying because you're hurt. There is no good balance in between. Chloe, baby, I understand because I have overcome it. Sometimes it shows up and I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, that's not what we're doing. So I recognize it and really need her to manage her emotions and find an even balance. But then one thing that got me too was the fact that You know, we're gonna move all your stuff into my house. Girl, your house is a box. Like, you guys aren't gonna be able to fit in there together. You with all your plants and the 5 cats. You know, I love plants. This is Sunshine right here behind us. I got a whole bunch of them over there with names too. But y'all ain't gonna be able to fit in that little box. He's a big man. Like, you know, buff, built. He's a big man. You guys are not gonna fit in there with his physical energy and your mental energy. It's gonna be too much. There's nowhere for either of you to go to decompress. It's not enough space in there for you. And I just really liked that. The one thing I did like that Pastor Cal said was that you're gonna have to pull up. You're gonna have to figure out how to, pretty much in words, how to let him ask for your support. Let him ask you to help. That was the one thing that I appreciated him saying. And then him reminding Mark she needs to be affirmed. So she needs a thank you for giving me this water, and thank you for helping me clean out my home, even though you was just throwing shit in the bag and not in a good way. Like, you was just breaking shit and telling me what I wanted and what I didn't need. And does this bring you joy? I mean, that is a great way to figure out how to get rid of stuff. But yo, this is not the time, because this is a stressful environment. Be gentle with me right now. Like, I need you to understand that my whole life just blew up while I was on vacation when I got married to you. And you just want me to throw my shit in a bag and get rid of all. Do you need these dressers? You don't need this, do you? I just told you to be careful and you broke something. She's so much. I told y'all I like her. Innately, she has a good spirit. Inside, she has a good spirit, but she's too much and doesn't do well with listening, doesn't do well with understanding what someone is saying, especially when I can't remember what it was, but she said, no, I'm not understanding. I don't get it. It was the about the intimacy and, oh, it's all or nothing and holding the hand. She was like, no, I don't understand what he's telling me. Like, she does not have a good grasp of understanding, of listening. She doesn't know how to sit back and relax. She's very much so controlling, and he's going to have to assert himself in this relationship. He's going to have to not be afraid of Lindsey and her big mouth and her mean words and say, yo, shut up. Like, that might be the language that he has to use for her to understand. I don't understand why he's afraid, but maybe because all the women in his life have been very much so in control, very much so overbearing, very much so do what I say. You know, you don't have a say. You know what I mean? Like, very much so all of that. And so I know that was a lot and a little bit of a synopsis, but the crux of it is he don't think he really want to be there no more. Because you heard him say, and I don't know, Artika always calls it something, but I always call it a confessional. She calls it something else, and I like the word she uses. What's
diary cam.
Yeah, the diary cam. In the diary cam, he said, y'all don't see her when the cameras are gone. You don't see how she behaves when the cameras are gone. And for me, this is a big red flag for him. That's another thing. When she was like, you're giving me red flags right now with your duality. You know, you're not being the same. I don't know who you are. And he says to her, you've been giving me red flags, but it's new. You know, but it's new, so I'm giving it a chance. My thing is, what are red flags? There are boundaries. There are expectations that are not being met. There are triggers that are happening. And 9 times out of 10, when you see them this early on, it's something that tells you to stop. It's not even like a flag on the play. It's not even a yellow flag. It's not an orange flag, baby. It is red. And you might need to just cut your losses. I hate to say it. I like Mark the Shark. Mark the Shark wants to be married, but he may have to just say, Ashe, and move on go on about his way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm gonna just get off my soapbox because I like Lindsey, but I don't. It's like one of those, I like you, like, oh my God, you could really be this great person, but in the next breath, just watching her and her energy tells me that she berates him, belittles him, she's mean. She just says, I just was like, oh, my spirit, my little empath self was like, oh, poor Mark. I even wanted to cry, but I think it's because it's, lady time. But I'm just saying, I just was feeling away. I was just feeling away. I'm going to get off my box now.
Chloe, your thoughts on Mark the Shark?
I mean, so here's the thing, right? Mark, I told y'all last week when we was up here talking that he needs to talk. He needs to stop enabling her, and he needs to tell her what it is and how he's feeling, because he just says whatever he needs to say to get her to be quiet. Remember we talked about that with the whole prayer and everything? He said it. He can't express anything to her, but it's his fault too, because he's shutting down. And instead of having those conversations with her, he's just trying to get by. Okay. The one thing I didn't like about Mark was complaining about that girl's house. I don't care. You ain't got nowhere to live, bruh. Point blank in the period. You left the attic apartment. We saw that the apartment was this big. Your apartment was this big. Don't come in her apartment talk about how big it is. Like you ain't come from the attic right there. Okay, let's stop. And it was just her little space. You better be lucky she let you come there, because where was you going? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Okay. So I was like, that's ungrateful, because if anyone takes me into that space after everything that she did, she done went and fought the bed bugs with you, grabbed your stuff, had that stuff in a car, in her apartment. No, and she already been through this traumatic experience herself once before. You don't have the right to come talk about how small her stove is, how small her living room is. She ain't got no room underneath the bed. Boy, just be happy you got somewhere to go if y'all still together in these 8 weeks. That's the one thing. But I do think that she is very, very selfish. She's saying that he's hot, he's cold. He's hot, he's cold. If you really love and care for someone, you have to let them process things the way that they process. He's trying to literally pick up pieces of his life, process everything that just happened. This man went to get married, came back with no place to go, half of his stuff, his grandmother's sick, and everything just hit him. Bang. And then you got a crazy wife. She's just added to the stress. And instead of her being his peace, she then becomes part of the problem. She's just another thing to add to his plate of confusion. Because now she won't be like, I got you, Mark. Take your time. This is the part, she's mental. On that couch, Mark said he went into his little moment because he was trying to explain why he couldn't say that he loved that, why he wanted to take it slow, right? She goes, it's okay. You want me to get you some water? It's okay. You want me to get you some water? Then turns around and go, I don't even know what he's talking about. It's just running on sentences. I said, what in the heck is going on in this lady's mind? I was like, wait, confused. Lindsey, what are we drinking? Leave the wine. The first thing she did when Pastor Cal came, pour that big old glass of wine and said, no, leave the freaking wine, because girl, you're drunk. That's what's happening. You're drunk, you're woozy, you can't figure out where you're going, okay? You want to hear what he's saying, but you can't. You want to be there for him, but you can't, because your mental space is not even there. She's going in and out. Even when talking to Pastor Cal, she was like, be careful what you ask for. You're right, we're just everything we need. I'm like, you was just sitting there cursing him out 5 seconds ago, literally 5 seconds ago. I'm confused. And it's just like, have some sympathy for this man. Be his peace. And I know people would say they only have 8 weeks to get to know each other. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that she literally has to jump inside his skin. This is the perfect time to show someone that you can be there for them and not push yourself on them. Because what she's doing is becoming another problem now that he's trying to sort out. Instead of having her to sort out them problems with, he's trying to figure out how he's going to take care of this problem. The same way I'm going to take care of this problem, and that problem. Because she's adding to problems now. And that's unfair. It's so unfair because she is nurturing. She's caring. She just doesn't know how to use it the right way. That's the problem that I'm fighting with Lindsey, because like Lisa said, her heart is good. Her heart is great. But sometimes her actions just don't show. And it's like, girl, I need you to figure out how to get your heart to show through your actions. Because what you're doing is not going to be healthy for you or him in the future. And that's it. But she crazy.
August also.
I'm going to start out by saying somebody, I can't remember who it was, in Lindsey's life gave Mark a no button. He needs to exercise it. When she came over to the house and was like, I'm going to help you start packing up stuff, and she started Marie Kondo in his house, no, get out. Like, you're breaking things. These are mine. It doesn't matter if it sparks me joy. This is the china from my parents. This is the only thing that I have left of my two parents. Let me have this. I think that, like you guys said, she's very nurturing. She means well, but she's not trying to align with his feelings and how things are going for him. She's not, as he said, she's not allowing him to process things. She's just like, you got bed bugs? All right, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And he's like, wait, I have bed bugs. Like, let me settle in the fact that I have bed bugs, and then let's start working on devising a plan. It's just like, you're taking this from 0 to 100 and you're not listening to anything that I'm saying. I do think that Mark is going to have to find better ways to say things to Lindsey so that she can understand it. He's not going to always have a Pastor Cal to be like, okay, so tell me what you're going to say, and then let me figure out a way to say it to Lindsey so she can hear it, because she can't hear it because she has to be right about the situation. And that's where her problem lies, is that she's mother, she's all knowing, and she has to be right. And Mark is looking at it like, look, I've gotten this far in life without having you as my mama. I can figure it out. Give me a minute to let me figure it out. And like, then allow me to ask you to help me figure it out. Because the problem is that you just want to help me figure it out, and I'm not allowing you to let me help you do it. You just taking over. I think that Mark is going to use this time of this 8 weeks to go find him somewhere else to live. If it works out with Lindsey, cool. Maybe me and Lindsey will move into this new place together, and she can let her tiny place go too. Because she was saying you can move in, and like, Tommy and I watched the episode separately, and when we talked about it, I was like, where? You got all this stuff. Your storage is under your bed, and you said it's full. It's stuff everywhere. And I'm not saying it was like messy or anything, because it wasn't messy. It's just, there's no space for him in that house. Like, none.
She threw it all out anyway. She threw all his stuff out anyway. It don't matter. He just need to bring him.
Literally, I don't even think his watch bands can fit in that house. Like, it's not enough room. And you're like, okay, get rid of your stuff, get rid of your stuff. Let's go through your house and see what causes you joy. Like, what sparks joy for you? And let's throw away some things, and then maybe we can have that conversation. I just think that Lindsey's taking it too far. He needs to use his no button and figure out how to articulate to her what needs to be said.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I ain't gonna be long on this one because I fell asleep by the time they started talking to Pat. So, only thing I really have to say is Lindsey is a lot. Mark needs to curse her out one good time.
That's so rude.
And it's just one time he needs to, like, so she can understand, not even necessarily cuss her. You know what I'm saying? But talk really stern with her and say, hey, this is the way it's going to go. This is what I need. Because I can let you, I hate to say it this way, but I can let the leash off so far, right? I can let you go so far, but this is your boundary. You know what I'm saying? And in a high stress situation, I need you to stay within your boundary because I have to figure out this next part. If it was your life and you were going through that situation, I would ask you on the back end, how can I help? You know what I'm saying? It's a sense of how can I help? Not I'm gonna help you. This is what you need to do, type deal. But Lindsey is a lot and Mark is not enough. And they balance it, and the balance is there, but Mark has, like I said about Katina, Mark has to step up and say something. And it can't be I'm standing up for myself. He needs to overreact on the situation that he's stepping up to, because the thing is, she's gonna, when he brought up the romantic dinner thing, and he was like he wants to slow down. If he was more stern is not the word that I'm looking for. That's the only word that's coming up. but use your own adjective. But
Maybe assertive.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. If he was more assertive about what he was trying to say, she would have received it a little bit better, and I believe she would have been able to move forward with their conversation and not having to go back and reset. If he was more assertive in this situation, his stuff would have never been broken. He would have never gotten frustrated, and she never would have. I don't like that. Let me go off by myself. No, let's talk about it. Let's figure out what's going on, and if we need to table it, we'll table it. But that situation, they didn't need to table it. And by the time, that's when they were in the apartment, and by that time, I was out. So that's it.
I think that I expected so much more from Mark the shark, and he's turned into Mark the beta fish with Lindsey. Like he's like shrunk completely into this small space, and he can't get anything out because he fears of how she's going to react to it. And that's not a way to be in any relationship, not just speaking romantically, but just any relationship. You never want to feel like you have to shrink yourself because this other person is filling up so much space. And I think that Lindsey is just taking up too much room in this relationship with all of her support. And he's a grown man. He's done it this long by himself. Right. And he's not even like, I depended on my mama for this because he couldn't. He's literally been an adult male doing this for himself. So it's like, okay, we need to figure this out. Like, why do you need to fill up so much space and allow him to like fill up some space as well? Because he's supposed to be a shark. Like, we're not trying to have a goldfish in the house. Like, it doesn't go together.
Yeah.
That makes good sense though, when all of you talking about how he's been doing this on his own for himself, but not only for himself. When you think about his mother, he's been helping his mother for forever. So not only have I been planning for me, I've been planning for them too. I'm gonna go on and go because I know it's Jack and Glenn's turn.
Oh no, it's not much you find real quick. I think Mark has mama issues. We talk about Jasmina having daddy issues. Mark has mommy issues because he always wants somebody to take care of him, or somebody's always been there to take care of him. If you look at his mama's been sick and she wouldn't take care of him. Now the landlord was his mama figure taking care of him. And Lindsey has just tried to fulfill the role that Mark has established and that he wants. So he reverts back to that. I'm gonna use the word a guppy, right? I got little kids, right? the little show the little guppies. He goes back to a guppy, He goes back to that little kid where I don't want to hurt the women in my life because the women in my life have meant so much to me or mean so much to me. So I don't want to be aggressive as Tommy suggested he should be because he doesn't want to hurt the woman in his life, which is Lindsey. Because I think he really does care about Lindsey. He really loves Lindsey. He doesn't want to hurt her by raising his voice. He wants to be a good husband, whatever the case may be. It doesn't mean you're not a good husband because you're a little stern or you're assertive, the word we use, assertive. It just means that you want to get your point across. Mark also, I think Lindsey just wants to have sex with Mark because Mark said on After Party that Lindsey lied about the time they had sex and that she's very a sexaholic, that she wants sex and all this. I think Lindsey wants to take care of Mark so Mark can take care of her. And it's just a whole bunch of stuff going on in that relationship.
The one thing I wanted to say was that Mark definitely needs to speak up about is let me process the way I process. She talked about him being hot and cold and up and down. Well, dog, like Artika said, I got bed bugs in my house. Let me think about that for a minute. She told us in her diary cam, her vignette his grandma went to 70 pounds. Let me sit here. I'll be up and down too. His grandma weighed less than my youngest child. That's a lot. These are probably, this is probably the woman, if maybe his mama got sick before his grandmama did. Maybe his grandma was the one that let him take this a lot. This is a lot.
And she's the one telling his business at that. He's not even telling nobody nothing. It's her.
Right. So just give me a minute. I would be up and down, hot and cold too, because it's like my grandma, my mama, my landlord who was like a mama, like everything's going crazy right now, and I don't know which way is up. And you try to give me that. She's trying to give him that hurry up and get over it. It's like a hurry up and let's it's a hurry. No. Like I gotta sit right here for a minute. And then I'm not used to, like Mark said, I ain't used to the people that like you way up here. I don't do that. I use the example on our review. I ain't the type to go into the restaurant and blow the whole spot up because I don't have no utensils. That's what you do. I'm not used to that. She called him, remember on the other episode, she said, I'm gonna have to class him up. Nah, he looking like he got more class than you. He looking like he got more class than you. And so she feel like she got to class him up. She got to do, no, you trying to make him into what you want him to be. And Mark is like, I just don't operate like that. And so I'm with somebody that she gonna have to get used to how he operates, maybe if they stay together. And she gonna have to understand that everybody doesn't operate, process, have no filter like me. And I felt like Talisa, I felt so bad for him because I was like, that when he came in the apartment and they were in the kitchen and they was just looking like, you could see the weight on him. It's heavy for him. And she's like, just ready. Let me fix it up for you. Let me do what you gonna do about my grandma only weighing 70 pounds. She don't like inshore. She don't want no tube feed. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You can't fix that. What you gonna do you can't fix that. So let me be in control. That's it right there. Let me be in control of the things I can control. And the thing I can control is packing my house up because all of this other stuff is out of my control. Let me do that. Let me do that. Because you, like he said, I feel like I'm out of my skin because you've taken it from me. Let me be in control what I can be in control of. And the other thing is I'm in control of me. I'm in control of my emotions. And right now I don't feel good.
But from her perspective, she is a nurse.
Yeah.
A hospice nurse. And so and what she came into, knowing people getting ready to die, okay, we got to move to the next patient. And she treated Mark like that.
But let me tell you something. A real hospice nurse does, and I'm not saying she's not, a real hospice nurse understands you deal with all kinds of patients and all kinds of family members. Yep. And so, family members and patients run the whole gamut. So you got to be able to deal with the family members that are like, and you got to deal with the family members that are like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to, like, my family member is dying. I don't know. I'm in all kind of stages of grief right now. As a hospice nurse, she should know you got to address everybody at the level that they are. Now, and I can appreciate she does. It takes a lot to be a hospice nurse because you have to be caring. And I get that, but you can't be pushy. You can't be pushy because everybody's not ready for that. Your family only got 6 months. And some people going to be like, oh, 6 months, but that's going to go by fast. Other family members going to be like, you sure it's just 6 months? I feel like, can it be 9? They not ready for it. And even when they start breathing funny, even in the room, right then, they still in denial. She knows that.
Listen, I'm as you speak about that, I think about the hospice nurse for my husband. Now, when they said to me, well, he ain't got that much time, less than a month, and we had him come home and the hospice nurse in the house, my mind was, okay, let me make this comfortable. This is going to go quickly. Like I adjusted quickly, but then again, I had fasted and God had already told me that he was bringing him home. He was going to heal him on the other side. So I had already got in my mind that it was going to go fast. However, his mother did not. His brother did not. Right. So, and watching my hospice nurse, I had a couple of them, and I'm trying to keep myself together. I'm trying to hold it together, y'all. They were men that I had 2 men. And when I tell you that they were the kindest, loving, caring, supportive people and handled us according to our needs. And though they knew that I was operating in, this is just what has to happen. This is the way things have to go. Where everyone else was, I'm not ready. I wasn't really ready. I don't give a damn what we may have gone through. I wasn't ready. So I had to take control as his wife and understand and those people were the most caring people I have ever met in my life. And so knowing that Lindsey is a hospice nurse, there has to be something in her that triggers how to be caring, not just at her job, because that is a requirement. You have to tell the people so their breath is slowing down. You know what I mean? They're talking in gibberish. They have to be able to explain this to you in a way that you understand it. And so she has to be able to apply that same caring that she does at work at her home life. Oh, I did good. I did good. They back there in the
You did. You did.
You didn't want to. But if you didn't do good, it was okay.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it together because otherwise y'all might have got the ugly cry. Because every time I get to this part of the story, this part of my story, telling anybody, and it's been a while now. When it's a wound. It could probably open up any minute. It's some scar there. It might open. I normally so yeah. So thank y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right, the coup de grace, the final and the finale. And I'm gonna start with Jackie because she has to leave. She has to go somewhere.
But I can't.
Alyssa and Chris, before you go get dressed.
I can't. It's so much. It's so much.
You can't be late.
I'm just okay. Now I can't be late. I'm so glad that Chris got an even bigger pair on this episode. And he was like, this is my decision day. Enough with the foolishness. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want it. He said, I don't want it. And she was already, I think she sat there. She talked to a lawyer. She talked to somebody and was like, if you break this contract, what's finna happen, right? And so she's like, I'm going to try. I'm going to try this time. I'm going to do it. And he was like, too little, too late. No, thank you. No, thank you. And the crocodile tears, because I'm a good person. I'm not a bad person. You know what them tears was? Dang, he got me first. That's all it was. It was, dang, he got me first. I was getting ready to milk this some more, and he got me. He got me. Doggone it. And the conversation with her mom, I laughed. Her mama backpedaled like a mug, didn't she? She was like, she did say, well, I thought he was nice and he was kind, but whatever she said to Alyssa on the phone on the honeymoon, she did not give that to her in that space. She should have read her right there too. She should have read her. She really should have, but I'm gonna let y'all have that. I was just like, I'll clap my hands for Chris. I was like, thank you. Shut it all the way down. And I laughed at this. She left her key on the island. He was like, key and ring, boom, mic drop, boom. Where your ring at, sis? Put your ring up there too. You ain't gonna need that. You're not gonna need that. Go ahead and leave it.
Y'all, real quick on Chris. I think Chris was like, you know what? I got 50 grand in the bank. If y'all want it, I'll give it to you because I'm about to break this contract. I got my 50 grand in the bank. So if you want it, you can take it. You can have it. But I ain't staying here no more because we can't do this. So it is what it is. So let's go. I'm going to move on with Chloe. Go ahead. We let you start this one.
I do want to know. See ya. Have fun wherever you're going. I do want to know. Does this mean that Alyssa is going for real? Does this mean that we're going to have to see her like in a tape in here, a tape in here, a tape in here? You know how they try to do things. I just want to know if that's what that means, because I hope not. But okay. But I am so happy for Chris, because Chris said, y'all not about to make me sit here look a fool. You're not about to let this girl sit here call me all types of names. When he said that she used words like Rob, Jip, this, that, and the other, I was like, add in, she said she hated you too, Chris. Add that in there. Make sure they know. Okay. And he literally can say that he went in all stages. He went in at 100. He tried. He was willing to have conversations. The fact that this girl never gave him her number. The fact that she couldn't even say on that beach that she was willing to put in 1%. Was all that he needed to know. Like there's no way he could have set up there and kept trying and trying. So we could sit here and keep calling him stupid and stupid. Like, no. I'm so happy that he did that. But Alyssa is bad, SHIT crazy. This girl sat up there and said that she was allergic to dogs when she rescued dogs. And she has a dog. And I said, what is wrong with these people? Like, wait, Alyssa, say what now? Okay, you know what? I don't even want to know. She got mad at him because he posted defund the police on his Facebook page. By the way, go ahead, Chris, for the people. Okay, go ahead, Chris, be for the people. Now, Chris trying to tell her, like, listen, if she would even had a conversation with me, she would have understood the whole, like, my whole and general, his whole general thinking towards it, right? His best friend is a police officer, the one that he literally was sitting there talking to as his, right then. If he can talk to him and still be friends with him, and both of them probably don't agree because he's a police officer, or who knows, he probably do agree because he knows a lot more to it, right? If he can still be his friend, and you won't even give this man your phone number to have a conversation with this man who's supposed to be your husband, to get his, thought process on it, or even try to agree or disagree, even agree to disagree, you won't even know because you gave him no chance. The thing about Alyssa is she gave him no chance to defend himself whatsoever. It's always he said, she said, they said, we said, never what Chris said. So for her to get up there and keep saying I tried is BS, because until you have a conversation with Chris that does not involve a camera in your face, where you are manipulating him, calling him names, and telling people how much you hate him and don't bring him around you, then you can say you tried. Until then, I have no proof or seen it anywhere. He doesn't even have your number. So when she left her phone, and she was like, wait, where's my phone? And he was like, huh. She was like, I was like, bye, Alyssa. Bye, girl. Bye, girl. And I hope you're getting real bad traffic on the way home. We don't want to see you no more on the TV. You got to go. Peace. I was just like, she don't get to get an apartment. She don't get to get an apartment. Like, not even a little bit. Not at all. Not as happened. When she got there and knocked on the door and was like, knock, knock, knock. I said, that's right. You ain't got no key. Get your little knock on, sis. You ain't got no key. But I'm just happy Chris chose him. And I just hope they don't find a way to slide Alyssa in there, because y'all know they about to find a way to slide her up in there. That's it.
August love story.
The one thing I have to say about Alyssa is that she got out of this unscathed. Like, we're gonna tear her a new one, but she has not been held accountable for what she has done and said by anybody. I really wished Dr. Pepper, I think her name is so funny, it's funny to me, but I wish Dr. Pepper would have been there to talk to this girl. Like, unlike everybody else, I hope they do bring her on to really get her to be honest with everybody. Because for me, that's the better conversation.
She ain't gonna do it.
No, she's not gonna do it because she's embarrassed herself at this point.
No, she won't do it.
But for Chris, I'm happy for Chris. Chris stood up for himself, and he was like, "I'm not gonna go through this whole process. I don't have to, because she doesn't want to be involved with it and everything like that." And that's the opportunity for Pastor Cal to step in and say, "Hey, we've seen everything. What is going on? Like, what's truly the issue?" And that's the one thing that bothered me about the whole with all of them. And then she sit up here and lie on him to her mom. At this point, I felt like her mom knew, like, she had destroyed whatever relationship she could have with him, and they're just going through the motions. Her mom probably was like, "I'm not gonna be on this show too much longer anyway. I'm gonna just go through the motions." I thought he was a really nice guy. He was a really nice guy. Everybody else knows he was a really nice guy. Your child is a a-hole. Your child has went to, where did they go? Puerto Rico, and acted a donkey. You know this about your child because every parent knows their children. And so her thinking that what'd she say? he talks to her bad, he treats her bad, or something like that.
Disrespectful.
He's disrespectful. At what point
Mhm.
have you had a chance for him to be disrespectful? Like you haven't said that every time y'all talk to each other, it's I don't like you. How much can a man take for somebody saying they don't like them? You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't mess with me, I ain't gonna mess with you. That's just human nature. I think personally, that's my opinion. I ain't gonna say I hate you because I think hate is such a strong word. But it's like if you don't mess with me, I'm gonna stay in my lane. Don't come over here fooling with me if you don't mess with me. Be 100 with me because you showed me a little piece of it. I'm gonna give you 100% of my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with that being the case, you sit up here and lie to your mom on national TV, and then your whole thing, I'm a good person. I worked so hard to do X, Y, and Z. No, you just trying to get on TV. And it backfired because you acted an ass. And you treated a person, a nice person, or a seemingly nice person, you treated them bad. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes to watch somebody mistreat somebody. You know what I'm saying? And the simple thing is, use the golden rule. Treat people like you want to be treated. That's the easiest thing to do. Most simplest thing to do, and you couldn't do that. And so I'm just like, I hope they do bring her back, but I hope when she comes back, they ask her those questions. Like when she was talking to, I was going to say Rudy,
Keisha.
but when she was talking to Keisha, and she just walked out, make her walk out. I would rather her walk out and show that she hasn't grown. She hasn't been, uh, she hasn't taken accountability of her what she said in her actions and stuff like that. I'd rather see that than her just getting off scot free by him saying I want to get a divorce. But kudos to Chris. That's all I got to say about that. Your turn.
I'll start off by saying I wish Alyssa's feet could have been held to the fire more about her actions. Because I felt like Chris gave her such, it was his out, but it was such an easy out for her because it was just a simple, I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm not going to allow you to do this with me anymore. And so he ended that and he was completely done with it. I do think that Pastor Cal was pressing for him to say what needed to be said, and he wasn't, because he's like, I'm not going to assassinate her character on TV. I just don't really even have the time to do that because I'm done with this. Like, I'm not about to play games with this girl. Now, one of the things that I did realize, or I thought about with Chris, is that Alyssa has said she doesn't like him. She hates him. He's disrespectful. He's this, he's that, he's all these other things. When you look at it, Alyssa has not been around Chris long enough to know more than his representative. She is literally getting the representation of the things that Chris wants to portray to the world, because nothing that we have seen about Chris has given us any inclination other than he allows his time to be wasted. That's literally all I've gotten from Chris. Like, yeah, he hasn't gone off on her, so he has to have some type of decency within himself. But outside of those things, not really much there with Chris. I do think, and I think it was Jackie that said it, but I can't really remember. Alyssa literally started off saying what she needed. Like, she came in like, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna tell them how I'm giving it everything that I've got, and then he like gave her like a bomb saying, I'm gonna drop this on you and now you can't do anything. And she was more so hurt because she couldn't be the one to say, I don't want you. He had to say, I don't want you, Alyssa. And she's like, I can't believe he did that. Like, he doesn't want me. Now my feelings are hurt and I gotta cry because I'm a good person. Who wouldn't want a good person? So it just, I'm happy Chris said what he said. I'm happy Chris got out of it at whatever day mark this was, like 10-day mark or whatever. But okay. Sorry. I'm happy that okay, go back with that. I'm happy that Chris got out of this situation and that everything is done. And contrary to what Tommy says, I hope Alyssa doesn't come back. I don't see a point in her coming back. She's not going to say anything in my mind that would make us feel better about anything that she has said so far in these 7 weeks of us watching, or 10 days of them filming. There's just nothing that we can get out of her that would make me change my mind about her. All right, let me put y'all on mute because Lily's yelling about the potty.
Utterly.
Well, I agree with everything that they've said. I want to say copy and paste to what they said. But the one thing I'm going to add is that I'm actually really proud of Chris. When he walked in and he shared with Pastor Cal, listen, she does not want to be married to me. That's how I feel. I feel that Alyssa does not want to be married to me. That was enough for me to know that this is about to go the way that it should. I was really proud of him putting himself as a priority. To hell with what Married at First Sight says. To hell about Alyssa's feelings. I don't care. I care about me. I am a priority. And I really wish that more people would put ourselves as a priority and understand our needs, wants, and desires and how people fit into them. If they do not fit in and they are going to subtract and not add to me, you can go. And I'm really, really happy that he did that. And I liked when he said, I've always said the second most important thing to me was my marriage. And the first important thing was our happiness individually. Like for me, I was like, you talking my language. That's how I talk. Like, listen, I'm coming in this thing happy and continuously working on me. Bits and pieces, things are changing. I'm happy. Please don't subtract from that. Please just continue to add. Yes, we're going to have issues, but not like this. You're not going to embarrass me and make me look foolish. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to do myself a favor. I'm going to trigger the fuck out of you. Excuse my language. Y'all be spelling stuff. I don't be spelling. She is, I'm going to say it for you, Chloe, batshit crazy. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to embarrass you like you've embarrassed me. Because that's all that was a huge embarrassment. And all she did was list a bunch of excuses that she's been doing. At least she did say, and her mama said, well, I was thinking they were going to give you a cowboy at the end of the altar. He was going to be a cowboy waiting on you. Well, you thought you had an option? Did you write that down? I want a cowboy.
This is not Tennessee. Like,
right.
Cowboys are not in Massachusetts. It's not Nashville. You're in the wrong season.
Sorry. Like, I don't know. And then the mama, well, he's still cute. And I thought he was really kind because you haven't known anything other than if his friends were saying that he could be X, Y, and Z, you didn't get a chance to see X, Y, or Z. You didn't even have a conversation for 5 minutes. And even Pastor Cal, who don't never do right, was like, you do know that you came on to Married at First Sight. You do know that you were going to be in the same bed. You do know that you were going to move in together. And for her to be like, this kind of threw me. I have a thing about being in the bed with other people. Ma'am. So you was going to get married and do what? If you had liked him and that was a cowboy that checked all your boxes at the end of the altar, what was you going to do? Tell him, oh, you got to sleep on the couch because you got a thing about being in the bed with somebody? You's a liar. You's a liar. And everything you do tells everybody that you aren't a good person, that you are a manipulative person, that you are deceptive, that you are superficial and shallow. You're showing and saying the exact opposite. And I'm so glad to see you leave. And I do not want to see her come back. She does not need to come back. There should be no reason that we see Alyssa at all. I don't want her to go and talk next week. I don't want her to go talk to the people and say, so Chris, we got a divorce. I want Chris to show up and say, I divorced Alyssa. I don't want to see her. I don't want to see her and her little patting her tears with her cheek inserts or whatever them is called, when they get their cheeks done. Because her cheek bones don't sit up there like that. Ain't nothing in her giving her them perfect cheekbones like black people or indigenous people. Them other people do not have cheekbones, okay? Like, look how y'all cheekbones are just sitting up like that. That's what she wanted. She was going for that. Okay, she got that injected. I don't want to see her. I never liked her energy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to see her go. I'm off the box because y'all said everything else. Yes, ma'am. Fillers. There we go.
I think everybody was right about her. One thing I did want to say about Alyssa, don't need to see her. I don't even need to see Chris because Chris has nothing else to tell us. His story doesn't have to tell us. They don't have anything else to tell us. They're not ever going to get back together. He made his decision. You know what? And make our reviews a little bit shorter because we're down to 4 couples, right? And so we can focus on the other. We can focus on the other couples, right? So we don't need to see them. My issue with Alyssa is this: how in a day and a half you all of a sudden switch up and you want to stay now? You done changed your whole rules, your whole game. Everything now is for the cameras because you really want to try. So when the man said you give him 1%, you want to give him 1%, he changed the rules on you, right? Now he wanted 50, you only came in with your 1. He's like, nah, you 49% short, right? So he really wasn't trying to fill her anyway. You let this man stay in his apartment by himself. You wanted to just hang out with the girls. You thought this was a social experiment, right? Because you wanted to be social with the females in a friend group. Look at this man's social media, which I think he was being sarcastic when he said defunding the police. That's why him and his friend laughed at it. I think he was trying to make a joke, and then she started snooping on his stuff. But again, he might be woke like that. He might very well be woke like that he understands the what's going on. But at the same time, Alyssa had to realize you only can beat somebody up for so much and down for so much before they can say, you know what, enough's enough. Especially when a person who doesn't really eat. Let's be honest, he didn't need anything from her, right? He has a good career. He got everything. He doesn't need anything from her. And so she was like, she coming to a table with no chips, and had nothing to win and everything to lose. And she lost out on a good husband that somebody else is going to pick up. And I don't think she ever gets married. So I think somebody might be out there for her, but she really ruined herself. And she has a legacy. She does have a legacy as being one of the worst people ever on Married at First Sight. That will be her legacy. Her name will always go down in history unless there's somebody worse than her as being one of the worst females on Married at First Sight. That's her legacy. Hey, before we get out of here, we've been here for a while. Closing thoughts, everyone. Closing thoughts. Let's start with August's love story. Closing thoughts.
I look forward to next week, man. That's really it. Like I said, man, I just hope somebody holds Alyssa to the fire. Chris is all right on Chris. Elijah needs to stop having his misogyny showing. Michael is, I don't know, stop lying. Jasmina, let it go. Elijah it. Steve and Noy. Next week is their time to shine. So looking forward to that. And follow us on August Love Story everywhere. And and everybody else as well. Like this video if you're watching it, or like the video, share it and everything like that. You got anything?
I don't have anything. Really, tell everybody bye. Okay, thank you.
Talisa, your final thoughts.
I'm excited to see going forward. Let me stop lying. I'm not excited. But I'm excited that she's not there. That's one thing. That couple is no longer a factor. But I do want to see how the other 4 couples progress this next couple weeks. Can some of them recover? Are these people actually doing the work that's required? I want to see what happens. I didn't follow through all the way last season, and this season I started late, but I'm gonna follow all the way through. That might be my key. That might be the key for me sticking through. Is start late after the receptions and then pick up, because all the other stuff is just is too much. But I feel like I'd like to see, if nothing else, people learn how to communicate, even if they don't, or not. Let me say learn how to communicate, but communicate authentically. Even if they don't stay together, learn how to say what you mean, really talk about what you feel, even if they don't make it, even if they never change. I want them to say what it is. That's the one thing. Follow me everywhere at Talisa Ray. Social media is I am Talisa Ray. One last thing, I'm about to do a little shameless plug. I got a self-reflective journal coming out soon. And so you'll be able to purchase that. So get yourself together, okay? So a compass of a whole lot of stuff, pieces of everything, so that you can get your life together. It's going to be digital and a hard copy. You get a hard copy, I'll give you a free bath salt that I make myself, that I be praying over and stuff. Y'all don't even know how much stuff I be doing over here. But I'll let y'all know next week. It'll be up. Well, it's on my website now, which is talisaray.com. But all the details aren't necessarily there, but it's ready. It's ready for purchase, okay? Subscribe to everybody. Like it. Hit the notification bell too, though. Don't just subscribe and then walk away. Subscribe, notification bell, watch the videos. Even if you have to pause and come back, pause and come back, pause and come back, do that, okay? And then tell everybody. And I mean for all of us. You don't have to do it all at one time, but maybe this week you watch me, next week you watch August Love Story, next week you watch Chloe Johnson. You hear on Jack and Glenn, so y'all should be watching them all the time, you know, but just add us to the rotation. That's all.
Chloe.
Final words is I'm tired of these people already. This is like what season? What episode is this? 7?
7, yes.
Yeah, this is about the time I start getting tired. The time I start getting tired with these people. I'm glad Alyssa's gone. She gotta go. I'm glad she's out. We won't have to see her no more. I really hope that like we get a turnaround with some of the couples. I want to see somebody win. And right now I don't see nobody winning. Like nobody. I hope we get at least some type of turnaround, especially with like, I feel like it's over Jasmina and Michael. I don't think they can come back. They can come back. I don't think they want to. It's definitely not her. Elijah and Katina gives me a little bit of hope if she speaks up and just not conforms to whatever he wants. Noi and Steve, I think they can work. She just has to let go of the 3 kids, and he needs to find a way to be stable for her. Other than that, I could see them meshing really well for a long period of time. And that's all the couples, right? Who we missing?
Mark and Lindsey.
Child. Mark and Lindsey crazy. They gonna be all right because they crazy for each other. It's like Jamie and Beth. You remember how we just knew they was gonna get divorced? They was flipping over tables and jumping over stuff and telling each other the sex is bad and everything. And the next thing you know, they still together to this day. Still together. They be all right. They crazy for each other. That's the crazy couple. You just gonna have to just accept that they toxic. Okay. Other than that, y'all, I just hope that the season comes back around so we can have some enjoyable moments and not everything be so intense. Other than that, don't forget, follow me on Chloe Johnson on YouTube. Okay, you can go over to Instagram, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow everyone here. Y'all already say all of that. Like this video, y'all. Like this video and join us next week. That's it.
Appreciate each and every one of y'all for joining us each and every week here at Jack and Glenn. Thank Chloe Johnson. Thank August Love Story. Thank Talisa Ray. Thank each one of you guys for joining us. Each one of these couples got their own unique things got going on. And I think we see ourselves in each one of these couples, or seen ourselves, or had this experience in these couples. So I think what's great here, I think Steve and Noi can make it, but they got to be willing to have the tough conversations. I don't think they have the tough conversations as of yet. Michael and Jasmina, they just have a lot to work on themselves. They both have inner issues that they need to work on before they can be together. I think a lot of these people lie at these interviews. I just like to be the interview at Married at First Sight and see what they go through, because I think some of these people be lying. I'm still on this why they didn't catch Alyssa, right? I'm sorry. They could have caught that through the door. I'm sorry. Something need to change. And Mark and Lindsey, Mark just need to have a voice and tell Lindsey, it's okay, but I don't need you to be mom right now. I need you to be my wife. And there's a different hat that I need you to wear at different times. So once again, thank y'all. All you guys in the chat, appreciate you. Thanks for talking in the chat box. Thank you for jumping in the chat box, having conversations. Some of the conversation were deep. I'm going to go back and look at it a little bit later. Appreciate you all. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week. Bye.